Defining Duke, an Xbox podcast, is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support the show, go to patreon.com/laststandmedia. Salutations, everybody. It is Maddie here today, and welcome to episode 206 of Defining Duke, a Xbox podcast. Today, I am, as always, joined by the true Game of the Year winner, Lord Cognito. How are you doing today, good sir?
Not good. Under the weather.
Listen to this, man. Listen to that voice. It's not booming as usual.
I know. If I sound like a frog, if my voice is squeaky and doing all type of craziness, I apologize. Like I said, the month of December, as I could continue through, as we talked earlier, I'm just pushing through. Every day is something that I got to do, and it's just gotta. It's not all bad. It's a lot of it's really good stuff, but I just don't have any time. I know it's bad when you don't have time to text back somebody.
Yeah, that's when you know. The little things, like anything that takes you 30 seconds, you still in your head have convinced yourself, like, that's too much for me right now.
Because there's a part of me that's like, I need to respect this person and give a proper answer.
Yeah.
And I don't have time to give you a proper answer. That's when I know I'm too busy.
It's just a mental capacacity, right? Like, that's just what it comes down to. Yeah.
So everyone who's reached out, I love you. It's just, it's going to be a little while before I can get back to people. Some really people send some cool messages. And I'm like, man. Yeah, I can't do that right now.
I know, right? It feels bad, but
yeah.
I'm in the same boat. I get you. But fortunately, we have a lot of fun stuff to talk about this week.
Yes.
This is a really great week for gaming. Game Awards 2024 came and went. The rumor mill was really spinning heading into this one, to the point where Half-Life 3 was genuinely being thrown around as a potential title. And that is insane to think about. I thought it was crazy no one shut it down, so I started to bite into it a little bit. I was like, well, this is like the one that could never happen. But this was a show filled with incredible announcements. So we'll talk about all of them here today. But before anything else, what I really want to get into actually is the write-ins of our audience. We have some Dukes to check in with, Cog. And we have some great write-ins for Health is Wealth, especially a lot of them this week as we're kind of rounding out the year. Really, next week's episode is going to be your last week, ladies and gents, to get some write-ins on, because then it's the holiday episodes where we don't really collect write-ins. And we'll see you all at the top of 2025. Don't worry, again, we'll be here week to week, so we'll have you taken care of. Cog and I already have one episode in the bank as we're recording this, and we're going to be basically reflecting on Xbox's 2024, so you can look forward to that. But otherwise, if you want to be part of our show and at least get early access in those coming weeks, you can go to patreon.com/laststandmedia, just like Raul Hernandez did. The Dukes, Health is Wealth. I am 40. And I decided to go in for a check-in. I have my health insurance for my work, and after listening to your segment last week, I decided to check my health. Shit happens. I want to make sure I am there, prepared. Stay cool, guys. See you next year. Shout out to Raul. Love that. Love hearing that follow-up.
Yeah, man, it's beautiful. It's beautiful, especially, like I said, while you have health insurance. Like, yeah, you stay on it, brother. I love that. Get them checkups, brother. Get them physicals.
Absolutely. Evan the Poet's up next. Closure rate, dear Dukes. I would love to write about my current journey with my life experiences on the Health is Wealth adventure. Now, mine is more a mental battle than a physical one. While I could, of course, improve the body, the soul is what needed my attention. It's December, a time I use to reflect on the time that's passed to bring me here. And let me share that I am truly blessed. This time last year, I left an awful job, car broke down, romantic relationship ended, and my best friend in the whole world moved on from this life. By far the hardest battle I've ever had to partake in. And there were days, I apologize, I'm butchering this, Evan. The days I wished I could wave the white flag just kept coming. Until some lovely little story pulled me out. My first time playing Persona in any capacity, 3 Reload had dropped, and I figured, I'm unemployed, I've got time, and what came next will forever stay on my heart. Hearing characters battle their own griefs, come to term with loss, or, as the greatest character in the game, Aigis understanding hers, and by proxy, my own mortality. Tears shed and feelings shared was unlike anything before, and I finally understood how to move on. From loss and hardships, I pulled myself up and promised to never stay down that long again. And I played the other 4 games to unlock the greatest experience of my entire time gaming. Now I have a brand new car, a lovely job that treats me like a real human, my book is finally out, and I, for what feels like the first time, am truly happy. Mental health and the respect I have given myself is my greatest wealth, And it's thanks to seeing the light shone through a beautiful character like Aegis. I am more than the sum of the past or the environment that made me. I am proud to be here to share with you and everyone else, to share in our yearly success and be a shoulder in our yearly stresses. Much love to the realm. I've taken your time. Be happy, be healthy, stay sexy, friends. Thank you, Evan, for the beautiful write. And props to you for the restrained hand to not plug whatever your book is. I am curious, though. Would love to know more, man. So follow up.
Wow.
I think this is beautiful, though. Yeah, man. Like Persona 3 is a game about death. Like that is the core theme. And I could totally see that being a game that would help someone in this sort of situation out. And that's what's beautiful about these games, man. That's why people like me adore Persona 3, 4, 5. I can't speak as authoritatively on 1 or 2, but these themes are so powerful. So powerful. And I mean, I always say Persona 4 Gold is like the game that basically saved my life. I was in a horrible spot too. And I remember just that feeling of friendship and camaraderie and the smiles the game gave me genuinely pulled me out. Like it really did like give me something to kind of strive for. Like I want this. Like this is worth it. These games are lifesavers. I mean, 5 Royal changed my life. I've gone over that story a million times. It's just an incredibly powerful series. So yeah, it's not just me. It's Evan too, and anyone else out there who's looking for a helping hand. Games are art for a reason, and I think Atlas represents that medium quite well. Certainly, you're not the only example, but Persona is the only series to have that sort of physical, mental impact on me in quite a way. They're truly journeys. And so shout out to Evan. This is a beautiful write, and thank you for sharing.
Absolutely amazing. And obviously the way life kind of, what I like what Evan said, kind of like how life kind of doubles down, hits you with multiple body blows, multiple things at one time. And I think we all can relate to that, especially I hear what he says about the romantic relationship and then all these things happen. And you play this game that is like at the perfect time for you, right? And it kind of reflects what you're going through. And then you just kind of dive in. I think for me this year was Metaphor. Metaphor hit me at the right time. It was, I know you're still going through it, but I think it was everything that's going on in the world. And then it was election season. And then it was just so much happening. And I'm just like, I kind of need this right now.
It really is a story about unity at a time where we feel like we need it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, I totally can relate, Evan. So I'm so happy. And I want to shout them out because a lot of people, I get writing sometimes. And a lot of people, you know, what I like is they mention and they verbalize, yo, I am going through something really difficult. Because in our community, unfortunately, a lot of us suffer in silence. And I've been, unfortunately, a recipient of bad news the other way, right? Where someone lets life's pressures take them down. And that's why I love that in the Dukes and the realm of the Dukes and just in our community, we're talking about it. Because as men, we act a little too tough.
Yeah,
sure. You know what I'm saying? Sure. And we, you know what I'm saying? Yo, bro, it's okay to be like, yo, bro, I'm going through something right now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And express it. Because that's the first part of the healing process so that we can get right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Vulnerability is the manliest thing you can do. That's what I always try to say. All right, let's help out some fellow Dukes now. They got some questions for us. Vinster X11. Hey, Dukes. Wanted to ask for a little mental health is wealth advice for my entire life. I've had this irrational fear of driving, but this year I finally went and got my driver's license in February. This was a very big step for me as I am 25 and honestly never imagined myself getting behind the wheel. Speed up to now, I finally bought my car and started driving just last week. Because of this, I wake up every morning having severe anxiety that sometimes leads to panic attacks. While anxiety is nothing new to me, I'm finding that this anxiety feels different and I'm starting to lose a lot of sleep over it. My main question is, do you guys have any advice or tips on how I can push back my anxiety without completely giving up on driving? Love the show, guys, and all the hard work you guys do. Thank you for your time. This is an interesting one. I do have a friend. I have a couple of friends who got their licenses late. And in particular, one of my best friends growing up, his sister, just like, this is not an accusation at you, Vin, but she was not a great driver. And so she, despite everything in her life telling her, you need to still get over this and get a license and learn how to drive, was still getting like chauffeured around in like her early 20s. And it was to the point like, you know, come on, like you got to do something about this. But that fear was a really strong grip on her. And it wasn't until I think she just decided to continue practicing and kind of face that head on. And by the way, there's ways to practice driving in a very safe environment that does not take you out into the highway, onto the freeway. You know, and of course, for the safety of others, you definitely want to make sure you're taking those classes, that you're ensuring that you feel comfortable behind the wheel. You know, I'm a big believer and getting used to things and exposure to things, they would call it exposure therapy technically, is what'll get you over a hurdle like this. Like when you're losing sleep over it, that means something's kind of haunting you, right? Like that's something hanging over you. This is a new form of anxiety. It's waking you with panic attacks. It's a level of fear. And that fear is likely centered, from what I'm reading on your writing, is like centered in a level of uncertainty, like, which is, can I do this? Especially if you wait until 25 to get your license. Again, I don't want to make any assumptions, Vin. I don't know if this was a level of like, you had something traumatic happen growing up, even if you weren't behind the wheel, like that stuff happens. My brother has just been in a couple of accidents himself. They've never been his fault, but they've really scared him behind the wheel and made him like a jumpy driver. I've had a car that's lost control out of nowhere, and I'm a very responsible, and I'm considered a slower driver. Like I used to always get teased in high school because I drove slow, but I was like, I'm not taking any risks, bro. And that's what I recommend. I always recommend to people. I'm like, dude, what did I say last week? I think we were wrapping up the show. I'm like, the people who speed by you, go in the other lane, go past you, I'm like, they maybe saved 2 seconds tops to the destination, and they put their life in risk. And I know it sounds overly dramatic, but like, I always tell people, ride below the speed limit, go 5 under. I'm just like, you'll never feel uncomfortable behind the wheel. You control your own destiny truly in that sense. And for a lot of people, this can be scary. But I think that exposure, that practice, and not overthinking it. Like I always remember when I was in high school, I was driving home from a friend's house that I stayed over, and I remember there was like between my GPS took me onto the highway. So, and I remember like at the time when I was playing hockey and stuff, when it would be in New Jersey. So my friend Ivan, who's just really good at driving, would take us each time because he was the only one comfortable hitting that highway. So when I hit this, I was like, oh fuck, like my heart dropped. But like once I did it, I was like, oh, I feel a lot more comfortable. Like I have little mental things for me with driving because I wouldn't act like I'm the most comfortable driver in the scheme of things because I just don't trust other drivers on the road. So I do things like, bro, I'm a right lane only dude. Like I'm always in the slow lane. Left lane is for everyone. I'm always in the right lane.
That right lane?
Yeah, I'm cruising the right lane. That's you are the slow driver. Everyone blows past you. Yeah. And there are little things like that. So, those are just a couple things that come into mind, Ben. I just feel like at the end of the day, I don't know your whole story, and obviously I'm not asking for it. Yeah. But this is something that you can work on over time, get rid of that fear bit by bit. Eventually that first drive, when you're out there, it's going to be scary no matter what, right? That's the thing you kind of got to accept. But what'll happen is just like anything that does scare us, right? You go out, you do it, you overcome it, and bit by bit, it becomes a little less scary. I think of like, last thing I'll say is like when I started doing Taekwondo, I remember that those, like, I usually don't get that feeling, but before those classes, I was like, man, I really don't want to mess up. I'm like so nervous. Like I remember like getting there and sitting in the car, like, I don't know, I might just drive home right now. Like those sorts of feelings just overcame me, like that level of anxiety. But then I went in there and I was like, okay, I got to do this. Like, this is just something I needed. And I just gradually kept going to the class, and those warm-ups in the beginning were what scared me the most. Cause I felt like, you're just at the center of the room. It's just a small line of like 8 of us.
Yeah. The eyes on you.
Yeah. I'm like, you mess up, people can see this. Like, but it built confidence, right? Because then over time I'm like, I'm going to mess up. They're going to correct me. I'm going to get better. Like you don't get better if you don't mess up. Now in the case of driving, you don't want to, I crashed my car. I'm going to get better next time.
I'm going to get better.
Yeah. Your car insurance is going to laugh you off the phone, man. But, the point being is you definitely want to practice a lot, get that level of comfort, take classes. Driving classes exist. I don't know the financial situation. That's something that is a great option available for you. I always see them driving through here. I will say, whenever I see someone parallel parking on my car on the road, bro, it's a wrap. I walk outside. I'm like, look, I get it. Not on my vehicle though. Not on my vehicle.
You're good, bro.
Yeah,
you're good.
It's like, hey, man, I was there once too. People are moving their cars on me. What goes around comes around. I invested a lot in this vehicle. You are not going to parallel park on it and scrape my paint. Please and thank you.
I respect that. No, that's real, man. This is a good one. This is good. Shout out to Vin. Actually, I relate to this one a little bit because similar to Vinny, I'm a late driver myself. In New York City, it just wasn't really mandatory. There's so much public transportation.
Sure.
I the Bronx. I didn't need a car. It's not until, and I've told this story on Constellation where, not until I got my first IT gig, and I'm like, man, I was so desperate to get a job. I wasn't getting hired, and it was right around 9/11, and I was desperate, and it was a company out like based far in Connecticut, and they were like, driver's license required, and I was like, yeah. I have that, yes. Because nobody was hiring me, bro. I was getting so frustrated. I'm like, how am I going to get an entry-level job? I got all my pieces of paper, all my certifications, and no one's giving me a chance.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So this company gave me a chance. So I had like 2 weeks before the interview to get a license. And I didn't have a car. I have a license. I'm like, and I applied on the joint, like, yeah, I'm good. And I knocked out the interview. Funny. So I went downtown. It was like 23rd. It was like driving course in a week. I said, look, guys, I need to get this license. Can you get me a road test? And they were like, yeah, we got you. Double lessons. Cool. So I would go every day. And my fears were actually different. Mine were obviously parallel park in New York City is crazy. Of course, that's one of the most difficult things to do. And 3-point turn, I was kind of like, and he was like, look, you've got to prove to that instructor that you know what you're doing. So I'd rather you be extra. So what I would do is I would be like over exaggeration with my mirror looking. Right mirror, left mirror. Like I'm being, to let them know I'm looking at all my points and I'm taking my time. Mm-hmm. The other fear, Vinny, for me is like you said, Maddie, the highway was anxiety. When them big Optimus Prime trucks, I would get intimidated by the 18-wheeler, bro. When Optimus would roll, and he would look at me, and my instructor's like, yo, what are you doing? Why are you so passive? And I'm like, nah, bro, I ain't trying to get hit by that joint like that. He was like, bro, overtake him. And he would tell me, get over the left. And that's how I got over it. I was like, okay, when I see a truck, move out the way. And I would just aggressively pass that person and get in front. And that it slowly built
the 18-wheelers you got to go by. Yeah,
he's like, don't stay. Because what it was, not only are they big, intimidating, people don't realize like 18-wheeler, it can block your field of view as far as like the next exit to get off and stuff like that. So when I got into that mode, I started to get my confidence up, kind of thing.
Yeah. My final destination part of my brain kicks in when I think of like driving on the highway behind stuff that like has objects that I feel can like fall off the back.
Yeah.
I'm just like, nah, I'm other lane.
Bro,
I'll become a left lane driver at that point.
So like I see buses, I see things like that's when my aggression kicks in. But normally when it comes back to city driving, I'm like you. I am the most defensive driver. My driving mentality is completely different from everyone else in New York City in the sense that, I should say different, there's people that drive like me. But what I'm saying is I assume all of y'all are crazy.
Yeah.
Every single one. I'm the guy that even when I'm driving down a very narrow street with parked cars on each side, I assume someone's going to open their door or a biker is going to come past or a kid's going to run past. I act like everything's going to go wrong, so I'm ready. Yeah. So when it does happen, I'm like, no, sorry, I'm good. I ain't hit you. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. I'm always in that mentality. I don't assume that everyone is doing what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And that has saved me. I've never had an accident on my own accord. The only time I've had accidents was one, I wasn't in a car. My car was parked on a hill and it was during a snowstorm and a snow shovel kind of lost control and backed into my car when I came. It was parked. So that was one accident. And the other accident was really not my fault in the sense that I was driving, and this is what I learned the lesson about getting your tire patched. You know how you get a patch tire? Mm-hmm. And not addressing that for like a year.
Yeah, that'll do.
And I drove through and it was like a rainstorm. I was coming back from the club or something one night. And I just heard boom. And my joint fishtails.
Oh, yeah. That's the worst.
Right. And so that was my thing. It wasn't because like my driving ability was doing something to mess someone up. It's just that I learned the lesson about tires. So that's pretty much it. But then you're going to be fine. Repetition, continue. Also make your car environment fun. Not distractive, but put on that Defining Duke podcast while you're driving.
Yeah.
Put on that your favorite band. You know what I'm saying? They got me listening to heavy metal right now. Whatever gets you going and comfortable, rock out so that car becomes your little happy place. So you look forward to it.
Yeah. I also say don't drive with people who do get you on edge. There's like I love my wife dearly. She is definitely a backseat driver though. Big time. And I'm a considerably worse driver when she's in the passenger seat to the point where we've had legit talks where I'm like, you cannot be like, hey, over there. Cause I will straight up be like, I'll make mistakes because I'm worried that I'm going to fuck up because you're there. You're going to say something. I'm telling y'all, I had that. Yeah,
this is real talk.
Yeah.
This is real talk. Remember when we was going to Butler and y'all drove me? I see y'all going at you were like, no, I got this.
Yeah.
I got this. She was like, yeah, over there because you could go right there, Maddie.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, I'm gonna put it here.
Yeah.
We're good.
We were parking for the meetup. Yeah, you saw it. You were cracking up because I was like, bro, now you know what I'm talking about. I'm like, she's amazing. I was like, you cannot do this while I'm driving because like you're gonna get us into an accident.
Bro, I was smiling my ass off. I was like, I already know what's going on right here. I'll just be in the back seat. Shut up. It was good.
Yeah, so like I'll just throw that out there. She's way, way, way better now. But there was a point where I was like, yo, we need to talk because I'm gonna get us into an accident at some point.
That marriage almost ain't go there. Too funny.
But Vin, best of luck, man. And of course, keep in touch. Let us know how things go into the new year. And don't rush it, of course. This is one of those things where you're responsible for other people out there. So you have to, take good care of others while you're practicing your driving. All right, next up here, we got Kurt Cobain Fortnite skin. Howdy, Dukes. Long-time listener, first time writing in. I'm currently in my junior year of college and would love some tips/advice on starting an indie game project. I've started a project with a couple of friends who are as passionate about games as much as I am, and we would love to get some insight on how to make this long road ahead of us as smooth as possible. Anyways, a big fan of the show, and I hope your own project, Maddie, is on the right track. Can we have the next presidential candidate debate hosted in Fortnite kind of day? I'm sure that's what's going to happen.
I know. Fortnite's getting so damn big. I wouldn't be surprised at one point.
Yeah, that's going to happen for sure.
Yeah.
Like, they announced Fortnite Ballistic at this show. They got Fortnite. Like they got
like 4 projects, bro.
Fortnite Odyssey or Festival. I'm just like, yeah.
Oh my God.
Fortnite debate is definitely there. Like it's going to happen. Nonetheless here, obviously I don't want to speak too matter-of-factly about everything because I think delivery is the most important thing. And at the end of the day, we've been working on something for a while, but I think the true proof of the pudding in what I'm doing with an indie project would necessarily be launching this thing so I can then go back to the building blocks and be like, this is what we did and this is what ended up helping us out the most. However, learn a lot along the way that I would still think would be great to pass on to you, Mr. Kurt Cobain. So hopefully you find some of this helpful. And let me just take 1 sec. Do you hear Rufus whining? This dog is.
Rufus is cool.
Really?
I don't hear nothing.
He's being a whine. Okay, I'll close the door after I'm done.
I don't hear nothing.
Yeah, he's being a little baby. He went out. He ate. He's just doing that thing where he whines sometimes. And love him dearly. But all right. So what I'll say is, I think the first thing that I recognized that was super important was when we went down an artist for a stretch of time. He was going through something, and so we were actually down. It ended up being 2 teammates. We were already a small team, so like. Everyone wears multiple hats. When you lose a member, you're like in this moment of, oh shit, like, how are we going to get XYZ done? Like, we're on a timer always with this sort of thing. But it was there you kind of recognize the faults in your pipeline of like, okay, we're not getting this done as quick because, again, XYZ. And so I think optimizing pipelines is always a really good thing for you to do because when we started to have less, we got more done. And this was really weird for us. We're like, we're moving quicker than ever. But it's because we started to organize things more. For us, one thing we learned that we as a team work better with is deadlines. Some teams don't like deadlines in as heavy-handed a way. My team really likes that environment. They like month-to-month deadlines. Like, here's what I'm doing. Here's our stretches. Here's our long-term goals. Like planning. A lot of game development is planning. It takes a while to build up those sort of pieces that you then use to like I truly get what game developers are saying now, where for us with like a new IP, we're building up this sort of, we call it a Lego set, right? Like, I don't want to specify too much, but like, all these pieces that would make the content for the game, cutscenes, gameplay. So all these pieces are being made, right? They're all there as like basically blueprints. And it's like, okay, now we lay all these out across different parts of the game and have them interact with each other in interesting ways. Like now we're getting to the content building phase, like truly at this point, like pre-production slowly ending, like we're getting to that point. But what I think I underestimated, and part of it's my fault because for game one, I mean, my team and I joke about it all the time now because we're at the point where like, okay, we're going to do this thing. But I picked a very ambitious idea for game one, for sure. I definitely think in hindsight, if I were smarter, I would have picked something smaller just to learn more. But I also am loving what we did because we've really embraced the challenge. And you stop bothering me a little bit.
Rufus, now he outside.
Now you hear Rufus outside. He's a loud one. I'll get him out of here in 1 second, then we'll continue the show. But what I learned with that challenge is that's how you start to create true innovation. Like, how do we do this without cheapening the player, without cheapening ourselves of like that satisfaction of getting the job done? Like, how do we accomplish these things? And game development becomes, as I've said a lot of times, it's about problem solving. It's about depending on others. Like, there's just things that my programmer can do that I will never be able to do, and I just need to rely on him to do his job. Same thing when it comes to my art director. Like, I am not artistically inclined. Like, I have my own skill sets, but he is really good at a particular thing. Our other art director, she's really great. Like, there's just things they know, and I just got to lean on them, and they're setting up that sort of leadership infrastructure of like, these are like your platoons to guide, basically. Like, our art division is like 6 people. And it's like, I gave the reins to 2 individuals, and I'm like, look, I'm going to be involved, but I'm giving you all the reins to kind of run things as you see fit. Just make sure you're respecting people's time, that sort of thing. And I'm going to be there to kind of just quality check as well as lore check it and make sure like this is in line with what we're building. And that's really kind of freed things up, because now I never was over controlling, but now it's not always checking like, does Maddie like this? Is Maddie like this? It's like, I established trust with the team. Like, hey, you've got this handled. And like, it just sped things up, things like that. I also think there's a phase of just getting the pieces for, again, our game's very artistically ambitious, I'd say, for our team size and the game size. So for us, art was a big blocker. And it's because I have a lot of artists that are really talented and like to perfect and shine things up. But what you need first are placeholders. Just get placeholders for functionality so that your programmers can go in, plug these pieces in, and just say, like, does it work? And best thing you learn, and we learned this late, admittedly, playing your game will expose everything wrong with it. Everything. And you'll be like, that's missing. That shouldn't be like that. And you can only plan from afar so much. That's why, like, I know Kurt Cobain, you're saying here, like, I want to have this be as smooth a road as possible. And the reality is it'll always be a little bit of a bumpy road because you're constantly reacting to things.
Right.
But if you're playing it as often as you can, like we're putting together a new build right now, we're going to play the shit out of it. We're going to come back with feedback top of the year, and we're going to amend it. And what's great about this playtest is a lot of our features are online. A lot of our main pieces of art and like how we're laying things out are online. So we're going to get like a real good look at like what works and what doesn't this holiday season. And that's really going to inform the rest of our game as pre-production winds down, where like we're in a good spot right now of like, we're not too late in the project where like things are being put down with super glue. Like, we're in the point where we can still adjust. We're getting out of that point though. So yeah, that would be some of my starting tips, is like pipeline, communication, like especially communication, man. Like that was something we struggled with for a while, was like, we hold now almost 3 meetings a week. And it sounds a lot. It sounds overkill. I know people in the corporate world hear meeting and their red flags go off.
It's important, though.
We have an art meeting. We have a team lead meeting. Today I'm having the team lead meeting. We're recording. It's on a Friday. Every Friday we have a team lead meeting, and we just go over. And it's quick. It's like an hour tops. Yep. We go over things. Our team, they're the biggest division, so they meet every week. They do like art directors kind of check progress, quality check. Like, oh, this actually should be like more 2D than 3D, et cetera, et cetera. That sort of stuff. And it's informing our team better. The vision becomes more unified, and we're all moving, instead of a group of 6 individuals like it was, it's moving as a full unit. And holy shit, the amount of progress we made in like 3 months compared to the span of the project was insane, where I'm like, oh, we're going to do this thing. Like, we're going to, So yeah, that's like, just some starting advice, man. It's never going to be, I think, a smooth road. I think all things accounted for, we've not had anything like red alert, danger yet. But I'm sure we'll have that moment. But I think just being prepared for these pitfalls, like my programmer's a big over preparer. Like, I will tell him, like, for example, he was setting up our quest system. He gave me a list of objective types that we can set up with our quest system. And one of them was like a timer. Like, we can put a quest on a timer and it'll count down, and like this can expire. I was like, nah, like, I don't really
do that dogma. You don't want that dogma.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know about that. I was like, that feels frustrating. And it's, again, I'm also trying to recognize, like, this is game one. That's a lot to balance. Like, I want to be cognizant of our shortcomings and not put ourselves in any pits. But we ended up coming up with a cool idea, and it kind of required a form of a timer. He's like, oh yeah, like that took me like 30 minutes to kind of set up, so I put it in there anyway, so it's available for you. And I'm just like, that's the type of worker you, I guess, want to be, is like, he respects the vision I have, but he understands that there's nothing wrong with over preparing, where just in case we need it, we might not use it, But just in case we do, that extra bit of time he spent setting it up ended up being a huge long-term payoff, because when you're setting up the quest system, it's easier to plug these things in. When it's actually set up and there are quests in the game and he's got to go back and untie things and retie things, that's a much more significant change.
True.
So him hitting it on the way in, he's like, I'm going to do this just in case, was good. So, again, that's where trust is really built. It's like, hey man, like, thank you for looking out for the project, because you just saved us months of time. And the other thing you learn, I'll just say, is programmers, at least in my case, and like I watched a Tim Kaine video, he mentioned like his programmer gave him a huge window. My programmers give me huge windows. Like we were setting up a VFX system and he was like 6 months. I was like, okay, cool. Like that's fine. This is really important. So take your time. He did it in a month. Like, so plan for that as well. Programmers give you really, really big windows. Like we were doing a combat related thing. I'll say he's like 9 months. Took him like a month and a half. Like, no, he's fucking insane, dude. He is so good. Like I feel very thankful for my team. Like that's why I talk about talent matters, because I've seen it for myself, the difference it makes. Like we are punching above our weights. Again, it's not to stroke an ego of mine or anything like that. It's help Kurt Cobain out, but like it's just stuff. I have more to share. I want, and I could share it more in detail, but I want at least the game to be revealed for me to kind of give context to certain things without ruining it for y'all. But hopefully these are some good starting tips, man. I mean, money also, I think I'll just say money's got to be like out of the picture. I really do. I know it sounds crazy.
We don't need no money now. What are we doing?
I mean, more like when you start this project, I had friends who were involved and they were in and out on this project because they were waiting for that paycheck to kind of hit.
Yeah.
And when you're working with friends, look, I had friends where I was just like, we can't do this. Like, we just like, let's just separate from the project. And like, just, that's how it started to end up being. Cause like, I was starting to get annoyed. I'm like, yo, you're only here when you're trying to collect the check. And like, it's coming out of my pocket and my funds, like, so it's like, it gets into one of those situations where like, I am fortunate that I have very talented people who see a long-term benefit of working within my company. And like, I'm giving them really good offers on the table for like, revenue bonuses and milestone bonuses, that sort of thing that we've talked out individually, where they're going to feel well taken care of. But the trade-off is, unfortunately, because it's just me funding it and they understand that, it's like, I'm not paying them industry rates. Like that's
long-term vision.
That's obvious. Yeah.
Got you.
And that's what I mean by money is like, because of I haven't collected $1 on this. I've spent so much money on this game.
Yeah. You're in the investment phase. Yeah.
100%. But in that process, it is made it possible for, number one, it's made it possible for the game to just be off the rip profitable, right? Like that's one of our biggest encouragement things. Is like our budget that we're really thinking about asking for. I'm like, this is, I think, a pretty easy fucking ask for a lot of companies with like decent money. Like it's high ceiling, low risk, high reward kind of project. So I feel like at the very least, someone just takes a flyer on us. We'll see, of course. I don't want to put the cart ahead of the horse, but that was only possible because my team was not like money first. They're like, we can do this.
Right. I got
you. And I'm paying them and they're able to live off this, but it's like, not like they're fucking balling. I'm not going to sell it all like that. And so that's my point is like, there's different ways to get money. Like Epic grants is one. I've never been a recipient of this sort of stuff, but like Epic grants, I know Canada does like a really interesting government funding program that's funded a lot of games. I remember, what was his name? Tarmac. He's a YouTuber. He reached out to me about it though. So it's like government will like fund some projects. There's a lot of ways games can get like kickstarting funding.
Yeah.
Not literal Kickstarter. I mean, you could try that, but like there's a lot of ways games can get funding off the jump. And I'll admit, I do feel a little lucky to be in the position I'm in. I do have industry connections from just working here for so long that I do have like a step in. Like after someone signed, I asked Jason, I'm like, hey, can you go over our pitch? Like, I just want to get your feedback on it when it's ready to go. And he was totally cool about just like looking things over. So that's why I want to pass on whatever knowledge I can when I do get it. Cause I'm just like, I feel very fortunate where like, I at least know, I got my channel, I have Duke, like there's ways I can kind of put our game out there immediately and just put it in front of people. If they don't like it, that's their choice. And I respect that, but at least I have that opportunity. Every other developer has to fight for that shit. They have to fight for the platform. They have to fight for the oxygen a little bit more. And so I, not putting myself on a pedestal, but I sympathize with that. I'm like, dude, like that's not easy. That's scary. Part of the reason I had the confidence to go for this is I'm like, at least I can put it in front of some people and know
Right.
they'll see it.
Which is
Again,
a luxury that most people don't have, right?
huge.
So you are cognizant of of what's happening here and how the climate actually is.
Yeah, and what's good is the indie community is growing a lot, where people are looking for these types of games more and more. So I feel like we'd be in an okay spot anyway. Like, again, I feel really good about what we're putting together. But hopefully you find this helpful, Kurt Cobain. Hopefully there's something in here that's helped you out. Cog, if there's anything you want to add in, by all means,
I'm gonna go knock out real fast.
Scoop my dog out of here.
Go knock it out.
Actually, I'm gonna walk him real fast. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, I'll try to get some bars in. Obviously, this is not a high area of expertise for me, but to elaborate on some of the points that Maddie said in reference to, in terms of the team, I know you said Kurt Cobain, obviously, junior year in college, you got your crew, you're passionate about games, stuff like that. I do really appreciate what Maddie said about meetings. And I think it's super important because even though sometimes they can be annoying and it's like, oh, we got to meet again or whatever, but it's those little things, right? It's the little things of what I consider clarity and clarification. Sometimes things can be lost on a Discord, a chat chain, or email string, where it's like when you get people in the room, and I've been on a corporate level, just talking to people and getting that kind of, okay, this is what you mean. Okay, I got you. Oh, hey, you know what? Do you got 15 minutes for a one-on-one? And let's try to iron these things out. You'll be surprised. Like, especially from a team standpoint, I can speak, obviously with lordsgaming.net and stuff like that. Just having those meetings and having those vision and understanding where people are coming from is so critical as a person who doesn't go to the meetings and doesn't understand what's going on. And, you're kind of just operating in the dark. You're siloed off. That is really helpful for communication to not be, right? And to everyone be on the same page. And then just kind of like team building. It's really important as a unit. You feel like, hey, we're accomplishing something. We're hitting these goals. Super dope. We got that. Now, as far as like my personal advice as a non-developer, as a non-person who's not, making games, one thing that I can appreciate is that going to what I consider, and you may not be privy to this, but I'm just going to mention it, consider them indie jams. Like, in New York City, there's a lot of different events that goes on where independent game developers come together, whether it's to showcase their games on a small level. I remember back in the day for us was play crafting, and I'd go there and to see like, hey, what's going on in the New York City independent game development scene. Obviously conventions, obviously things of that nature, but I like the first timers because you can kind of play off each other and get information, right? Okay, how are you guys tackling this? If there's not physical events available, there are definitely tons of online events you can research and find out, hey, what's going on in the area or what's going on in this space, and then ask questions. On a higher level, obviously there's like, obviously, the GDCs and stuff like that. And that's super high level, but at least you can learn process. You can learn some of the challenges of how some of your favorite games are made. Oh, one that I definitely could suggest is a man that we had on Defining Duke, BioWare alum, Mark Darrah, Darrah, and this is a BioWare legend. I absolutely love his YouTube channel. He really breaks things down on a simple level as far as game development and the challenges and the hurdles and things that go on with that. I believe my man from Fall, I think it's Tim Kane, he also has a channel, stuff like that. These are really helpful resources to really utilize and say, okay, you know what? I'm getting into this space. I'm learning, right? But I need to find out, this is what's going on here. These are some of the things that you can do. And yeah, man, that's pretty much all I got. But yeah, salute to you. You know what I'm saying? Says you're a big fan of the show. You know what I mean? And yeah, we will take it from there in terms of what you got next. You should give us a follow-up. You know what I'm saying? That would be pretty awesome. But those are probably some of the basic things that I can do from an advice standpoint on, trying to help you out. Those indie jams are really cool, man. You can learn a lot. And speaking to other developers in your situation, making game for the first time and bouncing back and forth the challenges that you've been going through.
Agreed completely. Yeah, I heard you mentioning YouTube channels, and that's where a lot of my mindset, like I read Ask Awada, that was really formative. Todd Howard's approach to game development was very formative for how I think about games. Just listening to all his interviews, like the line that always sticks with me that got us playtesting a lot more was like, great games are played, not made. And it was like the truest shit of all time. I was like, holy fuck, dude. Like right when we started playtesting, just all the cracks in the vision got exposed and got to tighten those up, and you just feel more and more confident about it. So yeah, just listen to people far more experienced than I, frankly. Like Tim Kaine, Mark Dara, Todd Howard. I think Neil Druckmann's got a show. Like, you can get insight from all these different developers. Indies are really transparent as well in interviews. Like, I bet you could cold email an indie developer and they'll give you a response. Like, there's just a level of like just passion and sympathy there that they get it. They know that situation better than anyone. So
absolutely.
Thank you for the writing. Kenneth Kopnick, last one, and then we'll talk about what we're playing and then get into all the announcement of the Game Awards. What's up, Dukes? Writing this on the treadmill in my health is wealth tank. Looking forward to hearing this episode in a similar position in a few days. Thanks for the motivation and reminders to take care of our health. On to my question, now that Indiana Jones is out, did it get screwed out of the Game Awards? Do you think it would have been in the conversation for at least a few categories, if not the big one? What are we thinking, Cog?
Oh, shout out to Kenneth as well. No, I didn't get screwed. I mean, release date. We all knew how the format of the Game Awards work. Now, do we agree with the format of the Game Awards in terms of when they do the final tally? Of course, that can be improved. In my opinion, if you're going to do a Game Award show, you want every output for the whole year. That's why plug. I love New York Game Awards and the way they do things in terms of that respect. In terms of getting everything in there. But as far as the second questions, oh yeah, I mean it's clear as day that it would have been a conversation for multiple categories, whether it be action adventure, whether it be vocal performances. Obviously, we saw when Troy Baker went up there with God Howard and stuff like that. It was, to me, it would have had multiple chances to be a part of it. And we'll see what happens next year. But as we will learn, 2025 is going to be absolutely nuts. And we'll see how many nominations an older game that missed the deadline is actually going to get. Yeah. So that's where I'm at with it. But yeah, to your question, for sure, it should have, if it met the deadline. That was and I remember I called it. When I saw Indiana Jones, I was like, that's a Goldie type energy. And that's something that I know the industry tends to gravitate towards. And it's a shame that it wasn't part of the conversation this year if it was able to meet the deadline.
Yeah. I think it would have been in the conversation a lot this year. I actually think it could have been up for Game of the Year personally. Like, I thought it was that good as far as I'm concerned. But again, that's me recognizing its flaws, but thinking its strengths are far greater in it. But definitely action game, definitely adventure game. I just think it would have been in a lot of categories. I don't know if it would have won them all. But yeah, that I definitely, I don't know if it got screwed though. Again, release timing is just how we know all this with the Game Awards, and the timing would be better in a month that is not advertiser friendly, yada, yada, yada. But nonetheless, I definitely think it would have been in the conversation. There still is a chance that it is in the conversation next year. It is a superb video game. So we'll see if it makes the cut. But again, I worry that it'll be kind of, it's not like Smash Bros. Or like Smash came out at a time in December, so it wasn't considered for the year of when it came to its release at the Game Awards, but it was there next year because the fighting genre was like so dead. It was like, of course, this is going to be a nomination. So they got to reach a little bit further back, where I feel like indie could get lost a bit in all the other great looking stuff that seems to be coming out in 2025. Yeah. Time will tell. But Cog, let's get into what games we are playing. And then afterwards, again, the Game Awards and all of the general announcements that were there. Let's start off with you, sir. What have you been up to?
Super light week. I mean, to be brutally honest, it hasn't been a lot of gaming this week. It's been so much all over the place, but it's been a lot of Indiana Jones in terms of backtracking. And this is very rare for me. I am not a collectible guy. I am not, get all the backpacks, get all the items. But Indiana Jones has a way with me. And I will say, and this is it's a controversial topic, because I think me and Attic had a disagreement, I would say lightly, on this one, which is like, he's like, I don't like the way they did, the adventure books and how like it could be off the beaten path and you could completely miss out on a whole gameplay item. But the more I've played Indiana Jones, I actually like this bold choice in game design, because there's a part of me that now going off the beaten path allows me to find things that I would never have normally found, and it incentivizes it and it makes it powerful. But what they also do is, because there's so much care with some of these side quests, some of these mysteries, some of these discoveries, some of them are straight up missions and with so much care that a main quest would have.
Mm.
And I'm just like, man, I missed out on it. Like, so I'm just learning about more stuff and adding additive lore. The other thing without spoiling is because you ended, right? I believe you ended
Yeah.
it,
You know,
right?
I finished it. Yeah.
Yeah. So without spoiling, what I realized, there is a location that basically incentivizes you if you have found all the artifacts in the game.
Mm.
And I am very close. So because the game allows you to travel back once you beat it and stuff like that, I am dying to know what a specific secret entails.
You have to tell me. I haven't done that yet. So
bro, there is. All I'm just going to say is the word vault, and then you'll figure it out from there. And
that's my favorite Bethesda-related term.
Oh, bro, there you go. Bro, they got something cooking. This game got secrets galore.
Mm.
And I'm like, man, there was one that already had me intrigued with it was called like the Serpent's Box.
Mm.
And it involved, this was completely separate from this whole vault situation. And it involved going back to certain locations now that you have certain gameplay items that allow you to explore areas or do certain game mechanics that you couldn't do earlier because you didn't have it.
Yeah.
So now I ain't gonna front, the way they've handled backtracking has given me so much replayability that I'm like, yo, I love this joint. Yeah. So yeah, I'm in my 100% bag because one, I want the achievement. Two,
it looks like an easy 100% achievement target.
Yeah, it's not. That's the thing. The way they did it, it's not painful. It's like, all right, let's go back. And then you can now speak to certain characters, which you could buy certain maps and certain things to find other things. And I was like, okay, damn, there was a lot here.
So well designed.
So well. I have to push back at my brother. I was like, nope. They designed this purposely with this in mind and giving replayability to a single player title in a very cool, fun way. So yeah, I'm all about that.
Agreed.
And then the second one, I'll let you lead off because we're kind of playing the same thing and, you know, finally dipping my toes in Marvel Rivals. So I'll let you set that. How's your Marvel Rivals been, sir?
Oh, well, you know, that explains my game too, that I'll just keep very brief. I played a tiny bit of Metaphor. I played like an hour of Metaphor this week. I played it. I got to the point I messaged you. It was like, yo, time to start putting a bow on things. And I texted you. I was like, hey, so how are we looking here? And it seems like I'm knocking on the door, all things considered, is my understanding. So I was like, okay. And that's the feeling I got by this point of the story. I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm in like a 20-hour range. Now, this game definitely would have been done if not for Marvel Rivals, because I have 25 hours in Marvel Rivals. And I played like an hour of Metaphor. I'm not gonna lie, dude. There was a boss that it was not one of the tough bosses, but like I think I know. No, I got caught with a boss that I beat it. However, this thing kept roaring at me and then debuffing my whole team, and I did not have Dakunda on. So I think I had it on another build. So therefore, anytime I got debuffed, I'm like whiffing. I'm like, let me check my items. Nope. Let me check my party members. Nope. I'm getting frostbitten. I'm like, yo, fuck me. This sucks. So I was losing my patience. I was like, dude, I would be, because just say that the hit accuracy went back to normal and I was able to lay on some fire attacks.
Yes.
This thing was getting fucking cooked. It wasn't even close. I was like, dude, I would be waxing this thing if I had Dakunda. This fight would have been over like 30 minutes ago. So I beat this motherfucker, and I was like, I'm going back to Marvel Rivals for a little bit. I'm not ready quite yet. And like, I had to simmer down. But like, yeah, it was like a little bit of a wake-up call. I was like, all right, I'm getting the warning shots. And this is as someone, by the way, who does not, like, I remember the words of Lord Cognito, right? I was like, look, those final bosses don't get an ego, Matt. You can't handle it. Fight every enemy. So when I'm already starting to get like worked a little bit and I'm like, come on, man, really? Like, I'm great at these things. What's going on? So I had to take 5, but really this game would have been done if not for Marvel Rivals.
Oh, talk to me.
Dude, 25 hours already? Like, that's sick.
Wow.
Yeah, I fucking love this game, man.
Talk to me.
Top 10 game of the year for me, for real.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, not like, I'm not talking like top 5, but top 10 for sure. I shook out my list and I was like, absolutely. Like, this game is great.
Why is it connecting with you? I gotta hear this.
I love the chemistry between your teammates on the map. Like I just love the team ups really do something for me. For the record, I did not play the beta.
So this is you
first.
fresh face.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
you losing it right now. Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So I'm learning everything. Like I knew that like, oh, this game has team ups. I knew it had environmental destruction. Like I knew the bare minimums, but I didn't know how it all worked together. Environmental destruction is always huge for me. I talked about it with the finals, how that works, but like this isn't on the level of the finals, but it's more than I expected. Like these buildings will straight up collapse.
Oh, straight up.
It's awesome. And there's like you'll remove hiding spots for enemies. But that combined with just the team up abilities where like we were running a comp 2 nights ago now. I was Cap.
Yeah.
My friend was Thor. Another friend was Storm. And that gives you the electrifying enhancement team up ability. Now, Thor is actually really good. I ended up using him and having fun with him. But Cap is like one of my main heroes. Like this guy.
You're a Cap man.
He's a serial harasser, bro. You just dive in, throw my shield. I'm like, yeah, back up. Like like putting up the shield, blocking damage. Like this man does it all. I love playing his Cap. Especially when he yells the Assemble, the shield above his head. I'm like, that's the thing. The game's got style. It's got that perfect voice performance, kind of like launch Overwatch, where I was like, oh, I love these characters so much. But using those team up abilities. So when I was playing Cap, I was accepting like, all right, I'm here to bother. I'm not here to kill.
Yeah.
6K damage a game, something like that.
All right.
Bro, this electrifying enhancement ability on him is insane. So I press the C key, it activates, and all of a sudden I get electricity on my shield, and I'm fucking throwing this thing like a projectile, and it's bouncing. It is disgusting. So now my damage with Cap averages like 12K, and it is an insane difference how versatile he becomes with Thor on your team. And Thor's already really good. And that's the thing is like, at first when I tried Thor on his own without any sort of team ups, I was like, I mean, he's definitely one of the tougher champs to play as, but I was like, okay, I kind of get it. And once I did get it, I was like, he's actually pretty good, but he takes work because you have to keep like activating abilities and hitting people to get that bonus health back. You need a good healer. Like he needs a lot of things, but when you got Cap there and he's diving in and then Storm with her like passive buffs, it's a wrap, dude. We completely dive bomb them and it's like game over. Using Iron Man with Hulk and Iron Man getting his I apologize, I'm playing this on PC, so I don't know what the console cord would be, but like using the E key and like shooting gamma bursts at enemies and like these explosive bits of damage, like it just changes the effectiveness in a major way for these characters. And characters can be great on their own. I love how self-sufficient all of them are. Like the supports do crazy damage.
Yes.
They do crazy damage. Like Mantis is great. Luna Snow is great. Like the thing that's captivating me is every kid is so fun to me. There's still some characters I haven't played as, like Groot. I haven't played as Magneto. I haven't played as Namor. I haven't played as, I don't know.
Oh yeah, that was my main in town.
Yeah. But there's just I feel like I know who your main is. I just I could see you.
Who do you think is my main?
This man right here. This man right here.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I've dabbled.
The man who beats up healers for a living.
Yeah, he's a beast. He's a beast. No, I feel if you.
Yeah, you're good. Go ahead. I'll pass.
No, to me, see, I think my problem is different. I remember that I'm team, Naraka, team NetEase. So I've been with this. I knew this game was gonna be fire. I was like, it's on. This is the game for me. I'm not like I'm an Overwatch hater, but this is literally the Overwatch I've ever wanted. So now I've been in the alphas, I've been in the betas. The problem is I'm struggling because they have done so much balance. So the people that I was rocking with, like Namor stuff that used to be OP, because I used to throw my little squid monsters out there. They do their little damage, and then I come through, I'll be flying. Like I was a savage with them. That I had really found a good place. And now he's not as powerful anymore. His little support guys aren't doing the thing like how it used to do. And boy, I am getting wrecked. The people who are giving me the most problem right now is Venom.
He's good.
Oh my God, Venom's so good.
That's so good.
And that damn Scarlet Witch, when she go up in the air, she start yelling that. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, if this chick don't shut up already, like it terrorizing me.
I think I overestimated her. At first I was like, she's a problem. But now when I see her, I'm like, I say this to someone who day one was using a lot of Scarlet Witch. I'm like, you're bad at the game. Because now I just solo target them and they're always first down in a team fight.
Nice. So
always.
You got it down.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, I'm like, you see a Scarlet Witch, go after them. You'll immediately see them use their teleport. They'll try to phase out. And then they're left wide open and just beat the shit out of them. That's it.
So right now, I've got to humble myself. I'm not really a DPS guy. I'm in my Adam Warlock pocket, which is
he's so good.
I'm supporting the team. I'm healing, and then like I'm such a cosmic dude, and my hope is for Surfer. So when I got to take all the cosmic guys, so it's like Warlock and Surfer are like this in real life. So I'm just hoping that's what opens the possibility for this game, because it's years of fandom and character building that is naturally ingrained into all of this roster. So you kind of got an idea of how these people are going to play, but they're really implementing it well. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm still kind of finding my way. I haven't really found a main for the DPS tanky type just yet. I'm still playing. There's still so many people I have not played with yet. So I'm going to go through auditions. I'm going to go through my audition process. But for right now, I'm a Adam Warlock main for right now until I can get. I tried Thor, but I'm with you. I feel he synergizes well. Now, one missed opportunity, because you know who I really wanted to play with, but I'm just garbage with him, is Panther. I feel like
it's either he's like I haven't played as him, but I feel like he's either hit or miss. Like there's Panthers that are really good.
Okay, you face some good Panthers. I haven't seen anybody
he gets all over the map. It's crazy. His when he's attacking me and I'm trying to hit him, impossible. I can't. At least not yet. I don't know how to counter him. I don't see him often enough to, I guess, really know. But like when someone's good with him, he's so effective.
And I haven't tried Wolverine yet. How's Wolverine?
I love Wolverine. Yeah, I think a lot of people think he's bad.
Okay.
I think he is really good. Like I think some people just don't know how to play him, because he gets a ton of sustain. Like he gets to eat a ton of damage, especially if you do a lot of people use the diving attack. I don't know if you see it.
The diving,
They use that to engage, and you can do that. But really what you're supposed to do is it's used to pick someone up and take them away from the fight and just like do like just clean them up over there. Yeah, like you grab the healer and you pick them up and like launch them all the way the back line, like away from all the help. And it's like,
yourself, baby.
Yeah, let's see what you got now. You got no one else to help. That's kind of where he thrives, I think, is like you can dive and engage that way, but it's better if you pick someone up and take them away. And so that
I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
No, finish your thought with Wolverine, and then I got a question for you after.
Okay. I was gonna say that combined with like his endurability, I'm like, no, he's I think really good. Like I don't play him all the time, but I also it's because like in my head, I want to get good at aiming first. So I'm not I'm trying to avoid the melee characters. Like I changed my reticle. I learned that with this is like a third person shooter where like you're really lining up the character models and their bodies when you're aiming, and that will make your aim better. So your reticle is always like slightly to the right a little bit of where you actually want to hit, which I didn't realize. And once I watched that video, like my accuracy just kind of went up a little bit. So
you got to put me on game.
Yeah, bro, I was like missing my shots. I'm like, I'm at the point in my life where I'm starting to wonder, I'm like, am I getting old? You know, like that, that was never a question for me. I was like, I got to face that music sometimes, right? But then I'm looking and people were like, no, my aim's garbage too. And I'm like, what's going on here? And then I look it up. Someone put up like a quick short and they're like, no, like the way it works is again, like when you get, they showed an example, like when you get really close, it's not where your reticle is, it's where your body is and where like you so they say as you get further away, it's more about your reticle. Right. When you get closer, you want to move the reticle slightly to the right because then it's about where your body is. So
position. Okay.
And it just improved my aim dramatically.
Okay, cool. The question I have for you as a Peter Parker guy, I don't see you talking Spidey. A little difficulty curve, a little too much.
Yeah.
What's going on? So you can rock?
I'm just, bro, all I'm saying is when I'm playing Peter Parker, you know, like that video, the guy punching and his hands are like hitting some dude's chest like this. That's me, bro. I'm pillow punching with Peter. Like,
pillow punching?
Yeah, like I'm not.
He's like, I ain't about this life.
I tried him like game 1 and 2, and I tried him later when I put like 10 hours into the game. Like maybe I'll be better now. And he's good. I'm just not good with him. I'm really bad with him. He is the toughest character I think to play. Like I'm not good with him.
Play style.
Like because you pretty much have to jump in, 1, 2, 3, land everything, and get the fuck
hell out of there.
Yeah.
Out of there.
Yeah.
Facts. Yeah,
like I struggle with him, but yeah, to me, my favorites right now are probably Cap. Mantis is another one I really enjoy. I'm trying to think on the attacker role. Wolverine is really one of my favorites, I guess, now that I think about it. But the tank role has been my favorite. I think those
tank
Penny Parker, bro.
Yeah, sick. Sick.
Dude, I have so much fun with her because she's so strategic, in my opinion. Like she lays down the spider webs. Here come the mines. Like, I can tie you up. Like, I think she takes a lot of skill to use.
Yeah.
Because there's like a mental game to it all. But bro, if I'm on with her, no one's getting by. I am the iron wall. Like, it is crazy.
Okay.
It is crazy. I just, but that's why I'm so addicted to this game. Is all these characters are so fun to me, and I'm always cycling. Dude, I'm signing up for dailies, Cog. I'm destinying this thing.
Oh, you Destiny now. Now,
I'm
baby.
signing up for dailies. I bought the battle pass. The only thing I haven't done is cave to any cosmetics because I can't commit to anyone. So I'm like, I don't want to buy any.
Yeah, because until you could, you're not. Yeah, you don't have like that. I know what you mean. You want to commit all the way there. It's like, oh, this is my guy.
Oh, you use Mantis a lot, Matt. There's the Guardians of the Galaxy skin for Mantis, but I'm like, yeah, her battle pass skin is way cooler. I'm like, I'm just gonna play the game and get that. So
I feel you.
Yeah, man. Like I've just been having a ton of fun playing this game. My friends are all in on it, so that helps. But like, I did the most like degenerate move. Like I was like waiting for an episode of Call Sheet and I had 10 minutes and I played a fucking game in the middle of the day and I was like, this is bad.
It got him, baby.
This got him. I was like, like one game never hurt anybody. I got nothing else I could do in these 10 minutes. So, I'm like, dude, just insatiable behavior, insatiable behavior. Just bad.
It got it. And last question. We talked about this on IOP. Is it a wrap? Because you see your boy Micah Barra outside. He's not happy.
Oh no, he's not.
Is it a wrap for Overwatch?
No, I don't think this kills Overwatch, but a lot of Overwatch players are migrating. It reminds me a lot of like when a big MMO hits and like you see that massive player count, you're like, oh, it's a wrap, it's over. Just like Overwatch, the one thing people are forgetting is Overwatch was a game of the year for me in 2016. I played it for 3 years straight, on and off. But then I don't play it anymore, and I have a much sour opinion of it. Just like Overwatch, Marvel Rivals will be defined by its meta, its balancing, and its support. Its launch product is fantastic, and that's why it's in my top 10. It is an amazing time right now. But Overwatch at launch was also its most pure fun, I think. I've heard Locke. I talked to Locke about it. I think I talked to Brad about it. I know Locke mentioned like they brought back like a lot of the original Overwatch stuff as a mode and people are playing it. They're like, actually Overwatch 2 might be good. So I'm trying to I want to get back and see what that's like and see if, maybe I'm just too caught up in the past of what was just a fun multiplayer stretch. Because like, for example, that time you had Mercy who could literally res a whole team. So, and Adam Warlock can do that, frankly. So, it's not as bad in my opinion, but I'm curious what they'll do with balancing this game. Because there are some moments like, I see some cheese like when I'm online. I watch some dude set up like 2 portals in front of like the exit of a base as Doctor Strange and literally walled off a team from leaving for 20 seconds and they just kept moving the payload. So there's things like that. And that's like creative and it's like, wow, it's kind of cool that someone can do this, but like you can do that because Doctor Strange can place that second portal wherever. So what effectively happens is like you got to limit his range. Like you can't let this man be reaching from mid map to spawn and be like, yeah, I'm gonna put portals here. There were people who are running out of the portals and falling into like the abyss. That's their own fault, right? Like they run out of spawn off the like start of a game and they all just drop through. Again, that I think is their own fault. Like you got to pay attention in that regard. But there's a couple of things like Iron Fist is a problem, in my opinion. Like, bro, I laid it out in my video. I'm curious if you agree. Triple jump, armor, deflect, can chase people into the sky, wall running, can heal himself. Completely busted. And I know the launcher of the game everyone's saying is everyone's broken, so it's fun. I'm like, he's on another level. I'm sorry, I forgot. Dash kicks that go like a mile long. This dude's got everything. Anytime I want to shut off my brain and be like, I'm just gonna beat up the enemy team. It's an Iron Fist game.
Iron Fist.
Yeah.
No, he's beastie. He's beastie. I agree. There's some people that terrorize. He's definitely one of the people that was terrorizing me for sure.
Yeah. Like I feel and Jeff the Land Shark, dude.
Oh, that shark.
Bro.
Bro, F that shark, bro. I don't like that shark, bro. I don't like that. Like, there's clips of people that get angry. They got somebody doing the whole trick, just slamming that damn shark.
Yeah. Bro.
That shark is a terror.
Yeah. Just that ult, I think, is ridiculous in its range. And when he gets you, how long he gets to surf around the map. He's like, I'm going to stop. I'm going to take a piss real quick. I'm going to get a drink. I'm going to check on a family. And then I'm going to dump you off at the edge of the map.
Yes.
And the dudes who dive off the map with you, they don't even have the decency to throw you off the map. They kill themselves with you. I'm just like,
wild disrespect.
It is. And the crazy part is, like, the thing I think they need to fix with his ult, in my opinion, is I'll be up in the air and this son of a bitch will still grab me despite me being away from his ult. I'm like, you can't have that where, like, I'm flying above and all of a sudden I'm underwater. That I just don't think can happen. But also, like, the amount of space this guy covers with his ult, where, again, that's where the jumping helps. Like, you jump, you're backing up, you see it coming, you hear it coming even.
You hear it.
And it still gets you. I'm like, because the range is disgusting. So I think they need to tighten that circle a little bit and probably even reduce the time this dude can swim around. Like, I just think otherwise he's still very effective. He's still very good, but like his ult, I think is just too good. So I'm curious what they do, because the developers, to my understanding, have gone on record as saying they don't really believe in nerfs. They want to just make everyone around those characters stronger. So I'm like, what do you do? So is your solution for Jeff the Land Shark to make everyone better than him?
Yeah,
where he's kind of like a no pick. That's what I'm curious. Again, what defines these things is that post-launch support. I'm like, what do you do in the face of like not game ender issues, but like, I'll just say there are some matches, bro, where you can get shoved. Like you'll just be barely getting out of spawn, and like they'll draw that line. I mean, I'll be honest, as someone who uses Penny Parker a lot, she is really good at, like, when you're holding that line. It's King David shit, bro. It's like you're literally holding the line. Like, no one's getting by. No one's getting by. It's crazy. So, I feel like there is a little issue there, but the style, the maps, the characters, the presentation, just they knocked it out of the park, man. This game is way better than I expected it. I thought it'd be fun. I thought it'd be good, but I did not expect it to be like, all single player games have been dropped for the foreseeable future. Like, this game is completely nuked. Again, Metaphor would be done by now, for sure. No doubt about it. But this game completely snatched me away.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy for them. Because, again, I remember interviewing that team, and I was like, y'all got one. And I thought it was just going to be a situation where it would just be for me, because I know how much I love what they did. But to see it resonate on this level, I'm like, man, this is crazy. So, yeah, man, Marvel Rivals, man. We definitely rocking, man.
What do you think of the monetization?
I've really dove too deep into it, to be honest, just in terms of, like, breaking it down. I just go in and I'm doing through natural progression.
Sure.
But, like, I guess my question to you is, like, where you at? Do you feel like, I
think it's generous for what it is, in that we're talking about a Marvel game where I thought they were going to charge us for everything. And I think compared to what I saw with Naraka, where it seemed a little more...
Rock is obscene.
Yeah, like...
Rock is obscene.
You're paying about $15 for a skin, which a little pricey. And there were a lot of skins ready for launch. I'll just say that.
Ready to go.
Yeah, there was like 10 or 12. They knew. They knew
what they did.
I think the battle pass progression is interesting because it's all based on challenges. I thought you'd get like a little reward after each game just for playing or for winning. But it's really driven by the challenge system and the achievements. And I think that could be a long-term issue, because it's like, for people who just want to do what I'm doing and I just want to keep playing the game, like, the fun factor is definitely there. But if that wears off and it's about the carrot at the end of the stick, I don't think they have enough there for that, because it kind of incentivizes you really just to sign in, play for an hour in your dailies, and move on. That's really all it does. And I want more out of it. Like, I want to play more, get more for, like, again, they say, like, we want to reward your time and your investment. It's like, I'm putting time in. I've put 25 hours in, and I, have like a skin or two to show for it from the battle pass specifically. When it comes to those units, though, that you're supposed to be getting is like the currency that you can then go take to the storefront. You get those through like achievements and stuff, or you'll get it through tiers in the battle pass. So again, like, I'm not asking for them to pour it on thick and give me like a ton of this stuff. I don't expect that out of them. They do have to make their bread somehow.
Right.
But yeah, it's again, for someone who has this many hours in the game, and I'm sure people have more than that, I'm looking at it kind of like, okay, I really don't have much to show for this. Like the only thing I have to
Based on
show
your
for it is the
investment.
money I spent on the luxury battle pass.
I got you. So you want now Marvel Rivals to come up with something based on the time investment so that
Yeah.
you feel more rewarded as
I
opposed to the challenge system.
I just think it's a post-match reward. I think it's that simple. I think
Okay.
just giving the chrono tokens, like the for those who don't know, the purple currency that's for like your battle pass. I think just giving me that per
Okay.
game, and it doesn't have to be a ton, just like 20, whatever it may be that they find acceptable. I'm cool with that. I'm just playing the game a lot. Like I just want to know that beyond the challenge, when the challenges run out, I'm just like, all right, I'm just playing the game. It's fun.
Right.
But I feel like that, ability to know I'm collecting a little bit.
Collecting and still progressing towards something.
Because again, the achievements start to run out. Like when you first start the game, you already know, like you get an achievement for everything. Like you thumbs up a player, achievement, you kill someone, achievement, you play this character, use their ability, achievement, and you're collecting a lot of this stuff. And it builds up quickly like any free to play game. I just want them to make sure it's fair and sustainable. Because right now, I think they're not asking for your money at all. Like you get all the characters at launch, which is brilliant. 33 characters at launch. That's part of the reason this is great. Like I'm so overwhelmed by all these choices, and most of them are really great choices, and they feel distinct and they're fun. So, I'm not complaining. It's just I feel there's a little adjusting they could do to make the game. Again, I wouldn't say more generous because I don't think it's really predatory in any way, shape, or form. But I think a little more rewarding for people like me who are like, hey, I put some money in too.
Right.
Like I kind of want to get a little out of this. Like the best thing I'm getting is like, oh, I paid for the luxury battle pass, and therefore I'm getting a 20% kickback on all of my extra chrono tokens. So like, or I should say not kickback, but bonus. So there's a little bit of extra on top for me when I do complete something, which makes a difference, no doubt about it. But I would love for it to be, again, a little just slightly more consistent dole out of it, or like just every 5 matches, something. I don't know, something, because some of these matches can be quick. So just a little bit to kind of incentivize the long-term player to just be like, hey, hang around for a little bit.
No, absolutely. And I think that's what's going to be the key for the longevity and them finding their way. And then obviously how they deal with balance with this type of roster and these type of characters. And we know they're going to be adding more characters. So absolutely.
Yeah. The leak right now is, I think, Mr. Fantastic. Like they literally have his character model and he looks cool. Yeah. His kit is leaked as well. Like it's like, he basically gets the bounce damage back at enemies, which I'm like, I'm going to be all over that. You got to imagine Dr. Doom is coming up.
Oh, Doom's definitely.
The whole season is based around Dr. Doom.
Bro, you already know that's coming. And then they're going to tie that to the movies. And then, they're going to have a Pedro Pascal. Fantastic. So the monetization model's about to be ill in conjunction with the transmedia movie, Disney show collect. It's about to be up. Trust me.
Like I'm curious what the cadence looks like for playable characters. Like I was almost hoping that, as we get into the Game Awards in a second, I was hoping that they would kind of be like, here's your next playable character. Like, it's that level of brain rot though, where I'm like, what you got for me? It's been a week. What you got?
It's a week. What you got? Where the new character, bro? You just lost.
Yeah. Like I thought they might 10 million players in 3 days. I thought they might kind of like get ahead and be like, here's your next character. Look forward to it on this day. But, no rush really on that. Again, the roster that's there is again incredible. There 33 characters at launch. Like again, I'll just close out and say like Smite 2, you all heard me talk about earlier this year. That had a massive roster, free to play, but they had the Ultimate God Pass. You pay for that, you get access to everybody. Smite 2, same thing. And so I was kind of paying for what I already had access to have a game later this year come out. By the way, under the Marvel license, and be like, yo, you got everybody. Not like 10 starters, pay 20, and you get them all. But, to really respect me as a player on that level was great. And that's why I'm here. That's why I feel like I feel like I've just been given such a great product, for an unnecessarily cheap price. I would have paid for this happily. Like this is easily a really good game, but just a great launch model. They've done a really good job. So again, what's really going to define this legacy is like, can they keep it up? Obviously that player count will dip over time, but can they keep the balancing right? What's the cadence of releases? What are the seasons? What are the changes to rewards? And so I hope, since the players are giving so much to them already, I hope they continue to give back. Because it'll show that they understand what brought this game to this height in the first place, which was like, you respected them, so they're respecting you.
Absolutely.
A kind of give and take relationship.
And I want to give them kudos. This is very rare. I think the only game I've ever seen to do this was like Division 2. This is one of the smoothest launches I have ever
Oh, I
seen.
forgot to mention that.
Bro, we got to give flowers. We always rip these companies. We just went on a whole Microsoft Flight Sim slander. Like launches, bro. Like it becomes, as a guy that loves live service, I've become accustomed. The first day is going to be horrible. The service is going to be down. You ain't going to be able to get
Opposite.
it, bro. This was one of them, and I get it. Their due diligence with the alphas, the betas. I've been a part through this process, and to see how this game launched cross-platform and it's damn seamless. Kudos to my people. I told you, Netties, y'all got to get them their flowers. I've been there with them since the Rocker Blade point.
Yeah.
They be on it, bro, and they pay attention. So salute to them. This was a fantastic launch.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that you literally can still queue a match and in 1 second. Have we ever seen anything like that?
Not that I've seen to this level with this. The difference is, see, the Rocker, I can wax poetic, but it wasn't this massive thing. The way this is Marvel IP,
yeah,
and like to have that, there's so much complexity. It is really difficult, and the way they handled it, this is a model that people need to be following. For future live service,
because it's not just like when I'm queuing up. We've queued up with 3 people.
Yes.
6
people,
1, and still 1 second.
Crazy.
2 tops.
Yes,
that's unbelievable.
Unbelievable. You get in, out. It respects time. Rarely any issues. Like that's unheard of.
Yeah, like for a launch this big, I was like, these servers are gonna be. Again, they had to have known.
Yeah,
looking at it, they had to have known because this felt so prepared for the onslaught of players that it got.
Absolutely, yeah.
Just incredible launch, man. Incredible. Just the polish is there. The server capacity is there. And again, you look at a flight sim. I'm glad you brought that up because I didn't really think of that. You look at a flight sim and it's like, there is a level of preparation that clearly developers can do that is starting to be exposed. Because it's like, how does a Marvel game with 10 plus million players in 3 days not have doesn't skip a beat at launch, but then Flight Sim 24 does? Like, you know, again,
it hurt them. It really hurt that launch. It really did. We did a banked episode. We talked about it.
Yeah,
and and that was supposed to be a slam dunk for them. That game is universally appealed. People like generally the game, but if you can't get into it, you can't access it. It keeps souring your experience and loading and all this type of stuff. That's gonna, it's gonna play a part.
Right on. Well, Cog, those are the games we're playing. Shall we get into the Game Awards, good sir?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's start off with some general thoughts. We have a write in here from Astro Parrot King. Hi, Dukes. TGA's just wrapped, and great games like Okami and Onimusha are coming back. Tekken with Clive, great pacing. Witcher 4. This was a great show. What did you all think? Have I wanted Persona 6, but got Onimusha instead type of day. Now, as we do, by the way, for those who don't watch Duke often, we're going to break these down announcement by announcement. So we'll get to all of this. But generally speaking, Cog, last year at the Game Awards, we had a lot of criticism for it. The Wrap It Up was there, infamously so. Pacing was bad. Announcements were really hit or miss. It was a bad show last year. What did you think this year?
I owe Geoff Keighley apology, man. I do. I mean, look, I haven't been as hard as everyone else, but I've been critical. I've been, the disrespect to developers, the overly ad placement. I'm gonna be honest. I'm a person that get disgusted when I see the Muppets on screen. I'm just like, bro, like, take your personal thing out of here. I'm not here for that. And look, the reason why I have to, what the kids say, I have to keep the same energy. Because at the end of the day, what I noticed was 2 things. The 2 things where he won me over. One, I believe the gentleman, his name is Amir something from that addressing the elephant in the room. The criticism we gave Geoff is that, bro, you're in an industry where our talent and our developers are getting laid off. You don't say anything. You don't have any comment on anything, right? Studio closures up the wazoo. We're losing talent by the minute. And to have that guy come on and his platform and talk about what he's doing for so many people who've lost their job in this industry. And that was one. Got it, and let him get his bars off. That was one. 2, I believe the gentleman from Larian, Sven, right before the game, really laying it out thick on the state of the climate in the industry and how teams and how things work. That was powerful, bro.
That was like one of the best speeches we've seen in the Game Awards ever. Yeah, he did an amazing job.
He talked to corporations at that moment.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah.
That was a stand, a line in the stand. Like,
bro, who
you're
else?
gonna,
Who else better to do it than the
bro,
guy who just made hundreds of millions of dollars by just making what he wanted to make and treating the people right? Who better
bro,
to say that than him?
perfect choice. Jeff allowed that, allowed to get and Jeff even commented on about the losses and like that's what I'm talking. Let's get now. Look, is it perfect? No, of course there was still some boards that were spitballed fast,
Yeah.
which we still. But what I came to an understanding is like, look, I know this is not easy. You have to pay the bills. There's ad placement. You're doing reveal. I get it, but I felt at least the pendulum swung back to somewhat to what we're here for
Mm-hmm.
and why it's important. And I have to give credit. And then obviously, the obvious, which is he had some of the like, bro, when we're gonna get into the announcements, when like Borderlands 4 is an asterisk on your show, I think the epic nature of all the things that you had,
Yeah.
right?
It's a serious statement to the joy that's lost by some people because I just gotta be real. Like, I mean, this is an insane announcement list. Like for this show to have so many dream announcements in one, and for people to still be like, nah, like that was ass, bro. I'm like, you've lost your joy.
You've
Like,
lost
I'm
your
sorry,
joy.
you've lost it. This is not a like your opinion's different from mine. It's like you've lost your
Yeah,
joy. That if you could not find a single thing in this show that did not
yeah.
get you excited, there's a
I
problem.
can't. Yeah, I can't speak
Like,
to you because please finish.
I was just gonna say, there's just no fucking way. That's all.
There's no way that you don't love games because it's like at this point, and that's why I had to check myself as a person. Look, it's very easy for me who has no idea all the complexities of what it takes to make a show to, look, we it's fair to be critical, don't get me wrong, but it's easy coming from the place of lack of knowledge, right? And all I say is when we do see the feedback taken, we have to keep the same energy. And that's what I had to do. I had to get on Twitter and say, look, Hog, you ripped this man. You've said so much. Yo, bro, you did that.
Mm-hmm.
Was it perfect? No. Can I? Of course. But you got back to the essence of what we hear. This is our enemies. Gaming is, I've been from an era where I was told, why are you playing video games? That is, you will get nothing from that. It's brain rot. It's never going to be anything. It's a fad. Like I was laughed at for being a game. I was the jock that loved games and hanged out with the geeks.
Mm-hmm.
And I was told, what are you doing? And to see gaming now where it is, the biggest form of entertainment, surpassing movies, where the movie industry is coming to us, where the entertainment industry is coming to us
Mm-hmm.
to get their look, to get their bag,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm proud. So to me, I gotta always support, this is our moment. This is our Oscars, right? Kind of thing. Now, was it perfect before? No, but to see at least try now to get back to why we're doing it for, I just loved it. But yeah, man, it was dope, man. Obviously, I lost my voice, so that's part of it. But no, this was cool. I wanted to give flowers on that, and I thought the reception for the most part, when I didn't expect that tweet of mine to go kind of like viral, and I was like, oh, people really agreed. I wasn't sure. And the last point you said, which is like, if you walked away and there was nothing for you, come on, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. We got to break this cycle of rewarding the negativity when it's nearly unjoined and actually reward the positivity sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, people, I went ahead back to my old tweet from last year, which went viral as well. Like it was a complete fucking ass clappage of Geoff and his team. Like it was
on point, though.
I think it was like a brutal fucking read, honestly. Like, but like I literally said, like, I don't think this show's going to change. I think there's too much money to be made. Like it was very to the point, like Geoff is serving the wrong people. Like he's serving advertisers. He's serving his friends. Like, again, I talked about last year, Kojima gets 10 minutes on stage to talk about OD. Swan gets wrapped up. It just doesn't make any sense. This is unfucking acceptable. You got to tighten it up. But I didn't feel confident it would. This year's show, I mean, I went back, quoting my old tweet. I said, tagged him. I said, Geoff, awesome job. Like this was a massive improvement from the top to the bottom. Again, I'm with Cog. Was everything perfect? No. And I think people thought that was an indictment of the feeling. It was like, no, of course, like there's still some rushed awards.
Of course.
There's still some like awkward moments where I'm like, like maybe leave a joke or two behind.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, I'm like, no, dude, like I think you put it best. I saw your tweet say like the essence of what makes the Game Awards had returned and what it needed to be. Obviously, the big announcements help. That does bring a lot of positivity with it. But generally, I was looking at the pace. I was
Yes, the
looking
pacing
at
was
the presenters. Last year's presenters were a lot of Hollywood stars who were like, "What's up? I'm a gamer too," and I'm like, "Stop talking to me like I'm fucking 5, bro. Like, stop trying to be me. I don't know how else to put it. Stop trying to fucking be me." It was so nice to see the first set of presenters with like Todd and Troy Baker,
Whoa.
and then you bring Hollywood in a way that makes sense. That was a beautiful moment, bro.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh
But it was awesome to see the presenters were like a mixture of like Dina and Dina. Like that was cool. Like that mix is what people were really looking for. That's how you combine the movie, TV, and game universe in a way that makes sense. Like a lot of adaptation usage, that sort of thing. Man,
Oh, yeah.
I was heartbroken Ella Purnell did not get her bars off when Fallout 1.
I know.
But I think Todd offered the mic to her. A lot of people were like, she didn't get to talk. I'm like, I think Todd was offering the mic to her, and she kind of like, no, I'm good. But like, wanted to hear what she had to say if she had anything to say. But yeah, man, like, just did you catch what Jonathan Nolan said about like, thanks to the New Vegas fans for not burning down my house? I think you'll be happy that you didn't.
Yes, I was
so
that.
good.
I was ill.
Yeah,
that was ill. Did you catch? This is why I had to give Geoff his super kudos. Remember, I told you I hate the Muppets. The Muppets came out and they were saying everything we always say about ripping Geoff and he's just gonna bring Kojima out. He had a playful rib of himself, of all the feedback that we all trash him.
It was
awesome.
The Deadpool and Wolverine moment for him. It's so funny. I don't hate Geoff at all. Like I think he's a very successful dude and is trying to do something great for the industry. I think as a businessman, he lost focus last year. I think this year he was much more refined. But like, dude, I mean, that was a great moment, I think, for members of the audience who do hate him, because it was the same thing as Disney and how they kind of the Marvelification of Disney, and like Deadpool and Wolverine in the script, they are fucking ripping Disney
that
all movie. And people are like, yeah, this feels so good to watch, man. Y'all get it. And like, I literally think Geoff saw that movie and said, hear me out.
Yes.
Like, hear me out. This is, or someone saw that movie. I guarantee it just felt so clearly like 1-to-1, but it was great because it did call out a lot of the deficiencies that were typically there.
Kudos to him for, let's be honest, when you're that big, you could have an ego about all this stuff.
Sure.
Right? Allowing yourself to be the recipient of that level of ribbing takes your ego to be checked. And that was the part that really surprised me.
Well, yeah, you'd hope not. I mean, I don't want to give him too much credit because you hope not, because it's like the reality for him is he's going to get it either way. It's unfortunately going, even when he puts on a great show like this, it's going to happen either way. So I think it's best he just leans into it and just has fun with it. So yeah, dude, I wanted to give, before we got into the games themselves, just wanted to give massive props. I thought this was a huge improvement and really letting the developers like get their bars off. Even if it ran a little later, people were like, oh, it was a little long. I'm like, no, like the devs got to speak. We got amazing, worthwhile announcements all throughout. Some people, and I agree, like the mid part of the show, you would get like a great announcement every 3, but I do think because it was so front loaded with holy fuck moments, bro. But I'll always remember that. That's the thing. I'll always remember that like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 punch from this show.
Wow.
Incredible. The pre-show was even stacked with massive announcements. We have them included here in the show.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I just wanted to, again, tip the cap to Geoff and the team. I'm hoping next year's show continues the trend that this wasn't just a, hey, it's the 10th anniversary, we're going to buckle down. But shout out to the devs for like providing meaningful announcements for this show, because it seemed like a lot, like, Witcher 3 still kind of far out. This new Naughty Dog game seemingly kind of far out, but they kind of stepped in. We're like, hey, it seemed like at least the way Geoff laid out the Okami sequel, like, hey, we get this is a special anniversary, so we're gonna do this kind of to have that moment. And so it made the show special. So it felt like everyone was kind of working together on this one.
Absolutely.
All right, Cog, shall we get into the announcements now?
Get it.
This first one, I go straight to you. Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, coming from Dotemu Summer 2025. 2D side scroller. The ninja is back. What are we thinking?
I missed this live because I joined in progress because like 7:30 to 8 was kind of like the pre-show, but they were still doing stuff.
I missed this one too. I saw it right.
I missed this live. So I saw this after. Thank God Soft told me this. I had no idea about this. Man, what a marriage. Ninja Gaiden OG, obviously Ryu Hayabusa, one of the original ninjas, but it looks like it's going to be another character. And the vibe I'm getting out of either mentor or underneath Ryu. Ryu will be in the game, but you won't be playing. You'll be playing this new character. Almost looks very Strider-like. Art style amazing. Look, once the Temu put their name on it,
Mm-hmm.
complete confidence.
Yep. Exactly. Same feeling. Yep.
Complete confidence. Like, we already know. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Street Rage. Like, Totemo to me is the spiritual successor from that era. Those are guys who play games in that era that we love, understand the core essence of what these games are about, and are going to give it the love, the due diligence, and the time. I am not worried at all.
Yeah.
Amazing. I was very happy with what I saw.
I'm only educated on 3D Ninja Gaiden, so Black, 2, and 3 Razor's Edge. That's the only Ninja Gaiden I know. So I don't know what is 2D Ninja Gaiden considered like really good.
Oh, this is peak. Like, shout out to my Eddie S. The reason why 2D Ninja Gaiden is peak is because Ninja Gaiden really paved the way. 2D Ninja Gaiden paved the way for what I consider the essence of #JustOne. Cinemas between a mission. When you get Ryu in the cinema and it tells a movie, like storytelling advanced to the next level with Ninja Gaiden for NES. I'll be first. Like, there's no doubt. I'm a Shinobi guy. I will never take that away from Ninja Gaiden. It presented strong characters, strong narratives, and you want to see what's going to happen next. So yeah, I want to know, because of the lore, where they're going with this.
Yeah,
it could be pretty amazing
for sure. Yeah, no, I'm excited just because I'm coming definitely, I guess, from the more casual standpoint. I love all 3 of those games. I love them. They're just so satisfying, especially Ninja Gaiden 2 on 360 is like one of my favorite like action game discoveries. Like, when I just picked that up, like, oh yeah, I remember playing the first one on my Xbox as a kid and just getting whooped in it, but loving it. I didn't know they made a second one. And bro, like the animations and stuff was like the way you'd have like 2 swords and the carve people up in midair. And then to see they capture that style in this 2D format, very gory. Right away, same feeling. You see Dotemu and you're like, all right, like, I'll be there. I'll be there no matter what.
2D side scroller is on. Demons, let's go.
Yeah, absolutely excited for this one. So that's summer 2025. Afterwards, during the pre-show, we get Thick as Thieves. This was an interesting one, Cog. To me, it looked like a co-op sort of kleptomaniac style game. We all know how I feel about that. Like, let's all move in together. Very Thief inspired. Like, I'm talking new Thief, by the way.
New.
Dishonored. It just reminded me a lot of that sort of environmental exploration and, open interiors and open-ended level design. And so while it wasn't like full gameplay, it did look like an interesting multiplayer concept that I'm keeping my mind open to. Do you have any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I didn't know what was going on at first because I thought it might be fair games or something. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
But I liked the energy of it. It looked cool. It's something about it. I like the style of it. Yeah. So we'll see. It's got a lot to compete with, obviously.
Of course.
But yeah, I like what I saw.
Yeah, it was a nice, smaller announcement. Fit well in the pre-show. I was definitely interested in what they were doing. No date or anything like that, unfortunately. This one was really cool. So apparently this builds off of that show called I think the Final Level or something like that. Shadow Labyrinth. And at first I'm like, okay, Bandai's doing a Metroidvania title. Interesting. And then all of a sudden, shows up Pac-Man, and it's like evil Pac-Man, and he's like chewing through enemies, and it's kind of like dark and gritty, and it reminded me a bit of like when Pac-Man World came around. It's like 3D platformer that worked oddly well for Pac-Man. It was like an evolution of that. Now I see Pac-Man in a Metroidvania style game. Like, dude, that's the twist it needed. When I first saw it, I immediately went, I'm kind of like tired of this stuff. Like, I just saw Ninja Gaiden, and like that'll be the one for the year. Otherwise, I'm good. And then I see this and I go, well, now you've got my attention because Pac-Man's there. So what are we feeling? Did you have a similar reaction?
Bro, I was like, what is happening? What is this? And like, he seemed like a side companion that just got evil and crazy. And I was just like, I don't know what's going on, but I kind of like it. No.
After this, we get Yu Suzuki's next game. I'm really, really keen to get your thoughts on this one because I have some strong opinions, but it's mobile, it's Netflix games exclusive, and Shenmue is fucking cooked, bro. Yu Suzuki's next game is this, man. What are we thinking?
Why you had the wound, man? The wound. Why you had to throw that jab?
Just putting reality out there for us all to just digest.
Yeah, this is pain for me. I mean, look, the reality is, shout out to Yu Suzuki-san, again, the legend, the reason why I'm gaming, the reason why my Sega love is as high as it is.
Yeah.
This man is created so many of these titles.
Virtua Fighter,
Virtua Fighters, Shenmue, AM2, that whole division. He pushed the genre for it. But it's clear as day that, but man, I felt with Shenmue 3, he lost a step there, you know, and his budgets tend to be very exorbitant. And I think this, if I'm just from the outside looking, I have no information, but I just feel like for him to be only able to get like the Netflix bag and the mobile thing, I don't know if the industry has kind of pushed him by or they're not really respecting where he's at. Mm-hmm. And this is, you know, the mobile situation. So look, I'll check it out just to see, because as my fandom, you know, will just see what's going on. But I was just disappointed, like, man, this is what it's come down to. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I'll put it this way, man. It reminds me a lot of Mistwalker. Mistwalker was a console developer. You had Hironobu Sakaguchi, you know, father of Final Fantasy, at the helm of it all. And then they went on to make, I forgot the name of the series, but they went on to make a bunch of mobile games. Then they popped up for air with Neo Fantasian, which is now available on consoles, but at the time only Apple Arcade. Yu Suzuki's followed a similar trajectory. He went and made a on-rail shooter called Air Twister for the Apple Arcade. This was 2022, and this is his next game. So I feel like it's kind of actually just his last game after Shenmue 3 flew under the radar, and then he's just continuing that with the talent he has, which Steel Paws is the name of the game.
Yeah,
but I saw that. Now, interestingly, I don't know if you caught the news that Shenmue 3's like publishing rights had moved to a new company.
I did not.
Yeah, it was Einin, I think is what it's called. Mm-hmm. They had gotten the publishing rights for Shenmue 3, and they announced they got it from Deep Silver just November 23rd.
Oh wow.
And so this is a pretty big deal, because now they're asking like, what platforms would you like to see Shenmue 3 on and stuff? So like might come to Xbox or something like that. Or Switch, of course, is another one.
Yeah.
So they're looking to port it at the very least, but I do wonder if this means the future of Shenmue is now elsewhere. Because the thing is, I have not played Shenmue 3 simply because we waited so long for 3. And when I heard that they were planning more stories afterwards, I was like, dude, like, I think Yu Suzuki went on record saying like he had 9 planned.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, you can't, like, dude, you're 66. You can't be doing this, man. Like, you got to wrap it. And so when Shenmue 3 comes around, it was like this unbelievable moment of like, seize your moment. It put some sort of bow on it. And when I heard it wasn't that, I was like, I cannot play this in good conscience until I know there's at least a forthcoming, and then I will give it a shot. But it's such a shame, because Shenmue is one of the most important video game series ever. Ever. Like the impact it had. You talked about like storytelling impact, the real world, the time system, the immersive factors, the combat system being used to then build Virtua Fighter. Like, just that was the game that put Dreamcast on the map, that changed things. The music in it, the kind of just going to work in the game. It just had so much to it. Shenmue 2 as well, an Xbox exclusive for some time.
Yeah.
Just a really special video game series. And obviously there's lightning in a bottle, and that's stuff you have to consider, but it's just such a shame to see what he's doing now. I'm just like, man, like, it's just not for me. It's
unfortunately.
Next up here, we have Slow Clap's next game, Cog. It's coming summer 2025. For those who don't know, Slow Clap, developer of Sifu, Absolver, they're back with Rematch, a sports game, a soccer game. What's the feel here? I don't like the call.
Not for me.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the decision here. It just doesn't. Sifu was so good. I felt like the obvious choice was like, you build upon that. I don't know. And by that I don't mean like you do a sequel or whatever. I think the story was very like beginning, middle, end, very final. But like that system that was started with Absolver was evolved into Sifu, I felt like needed another step to kind of like, and just again to keep putting them on the map. Like they made like one of the best independent games ever. Walk away and go and like make a football game. I'll keep an open mind in a world of like Rocket League, where I was like, oh, this is actually really fun. And I've always called for more fun, arcadey style sports games. I just don't want the developers of like my favorite single player stuff to be the ones doing that job. But what do you make of Rematch, Cog?
Yeah, I was thrown off because I was like, when I heard Slow Clap, like my enthusiasm was like, oh, it's about to be on. And I'm like, oh, this is some FIFA joint. Like, what's,
Yeah.
you know, now that granted, it was like that, you know, NBA Jam style in a way, and the art style looked cool, and it may appeal to like a casual that doesn't want the hardcore simulation based thing, but it just wasn't what I was looking out for them. But it may be one of them joints where I end up being wrong, and it's, I hope so, you know, it does well for them, but it wasn't what I'm looking for from them.
I think it'll be fun to play. I don't have really a doubt about that. And I guess that's all that matters. But in the terms of like what I'm looking for as a player, I just don't feel like there's a mass appeal for like a soccer game.
I'm curious how the appeal is going to be. But to your point, what if this joint do become the Rocket League? Like, oh, I got to give Brendan Nees, say, hey, this was some lane that I ain't see.
I didn't see.
Want it.
And maybe it's one of those things where you like, just by looking at it, you're like, I think this can play well. But maybe so once the controller's in my hands, I get it more. But I didn't really see a differentiating enough factor to be like, oh, you know, I think of Pyre, right? Which is from I'm forgetting the name of the developer. I apologize, but Supergiant Games, Bastion developer, Transistor developer. Like they always had like these new ideas, and so they made a 3v3 sports game, but it was also like a choice and consequence game. It was like a role playing game, kind of visual novel like. Like it had a lot of wrinkles to it that took the sports out of it and made it more a part of the narrative, and it was really good. I love that game. I platinumed it. Awesome time. To see them just say like, here's soccer, and like the main difference I saw in the game is like some dude kicked it wide. I'm like, that was a bad shot, and he fires it off the wall, and someone kicks it when it comes back. Then I'm like, okay. I didn't see much else though, so it's a really interesting. It's just a really crazy pivot to me. It's not like a bad looking game. It's just a really crazy business choice as far as I'm concerned.
It was definitely something I did not expect.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say in the good way. So now we move on to the closer for the Game Awards pre-show, and it's Solasta 2. It's entering early access in 2025. I've played Solasta 1. Great video game. If you're into Divinity Original Sin, like this is a game that I think is very much for you, and you're seeing a little bit of the leveling up here for Solasta that you kind of saw with Larian as well. Like they progressively got better and bigger, and I think they're taking a page out of Larian's playbook when it comes to the launch pattern, the launch cycle, and everything. Like early access first and get it out there and iterate upon it. But yeah, these are great games. So definitely, if you're into a hardcore role playing game, Solasta 2 should be on your radar. If you're like me, though, when I see early access, I'm like, I'll dip my toe in the pool, see how you're doing. 1.0 is when I will actually play in full. So yeah, Solasta 2 looks pretty solid. What'd you think?
Yeah, it looked good. It looked good. I clearly saw all the Baldur's Gate's influence. I'm like, ooh, okay, I see that. I believe that's the one with the chick antagonist that look wild crazy.
Yeah,
like she's about her business.
Yeah, that opening cinematic was good.
Yeah. No, it looked good. It looked good. I mean, it definitely like a game I keep my eye on for sure.
Agreed. But now we're in the main show. The main show begins. Announcement 1 after, if you want to take a victory lap at all, sir, Emily and Jurgens winning Best Performance of the Year.
I mean, I did. I have to admit. All right, let me apologize to you in Gene Park very early.
Sir.
I may have been messy on the ILP stream. I may have called out my Duke brethren. I may have called out Gene Park by name. So anytime Hellblade won anything, you may see a slanderous clip out there. I was in the moment. Maddie, I apologize. I remember I took slings and arrows. I had to listen to this game, you know, not be loved by my two friends, right? So it was my like, you know what I'm saying? Like I was feeling myself, Maddie. So as a man, I have to apologize to you. I was like, I was like, what, Mr. Maddie plays? What? I literally said that on stream when they were announced. I was like, talk that. I said, the people have decided.
That's okay.
I was super messy.
That's okay. I love messy COG. I'll just say, as someone who's played every game on that list for the most part, and especially someone who played Silent Hill 2 and Hellblade 2, Luke Roberts got fucking robbed.
Look, I'll be honest. I knew that competition was serious. I didn't know.
The reactions were very telling in the terms of like the you know, the actors always have the most visible like, I lost, fuck, like, you know, it means everything to them. That's why it's such a tough category. I'm like,
a tough one.
Like anyone who loses, it's like, you know, in other cases like the team performance, but you see them immediately get down on themselves. It's like,
that's the thing. I have to try to take the emotions out of it because I know how it is on the other side of that, right? Because they're all worthy. But yeah, now look, Melina, you guys know how I feel about her. I feel like I said, the audio, the performance, and everything they've done was next level, as far as from a technical standpoint. And I remember her story, right? It was pretty amazing. Just like being a regular,
Animator.
Animated kind of Joe, so to speak, at a studio, and then to see her, elevate. So I was super happy for that.
Yeah, no acting experience too. Two-time winner. Very impressive.
Yeah, salute to her, man.
Congrats to her. That's awesome. All right, Cog. So now we get into the first actual big announcement here in The Witcher 4. This one, the rumors started to percolate a bit with like CD Projekt Red suddenly just talking up like, yeah, we're in full production. Then they were dropping details on the game and talking about it in investors meetings. You're like, it's in the air enough where I feel like they're going to announce like, here's what's next. So we see the trailer. It's got that beautiful Witcher score. Ciri is, as expected, the main character, unless you're like some troglodyte on Twitter who doesn't fucking play Witcher 3 and actually know what the fucking series is about.
I mean, the people that don't play the games.
Yes, literally. That's what I'm saying, bro. I'm sorry. I won't make the conversation about it, but there's two games I want to get my bars off about. People not playing or consuming enough entertainment to be talking about it. Because it was so obvious if you played The Witcher 3, where she was already a playable character, that you would have a mature Ciri as Witcher 4's protagonist. There is no message here. Really, there's none. I'll just leave it there. But nonetheless, The Witcher 4 is here. And dude, normally I'm not a CG trailer guy. CD Projekt Red, for me, who continues to deliver generational, RPGs, Game of the Year contenders, they can deliver a little bit of something like this and get me excited because I'm getting a lot of details with them, feeling out this world space. What does Ciri, a more mature Ciri, look like? She's cut. You can see she's undergone the Witcher trial. Like she's gone through a lot in these years. Like the voice performance I thought was great. The music again was excellent. The using of the chain, like you started to get an idea of like the gameplay and what that was going to be like. And the way like the voice is cut off when she decapitates this thing. She's like, there's only monsters here. I was like, okay. I'm in, man. Like this looked excellent by premise alone. CD Projekt Red has my full trust. I am very, very excited. So what did you feel about The Witcher 4 when you saw it announced?
Again, when Witcher 4 is almost a footnote in a plethora of announcements, what type of show you have. Yeah, I was blown away. The first thought, look, I'm just going to be brutally honest, because me and you just did an amazing Banked Duke that I can't wait for people to talk about at Xbox 2024. One of the most powerful conversations I felt that me and you had was the conversation around games, moving into next year and stuff like that. And that it was literally the first thing I kept talking about. I was like, I know how amazing this looks.
You just know. You have a sixth sense now. You just know. It's like, oh, here we go.
Yep. And certain groups are going to feel certain ways. And I'm sitting there and I was like, all I care about is, because I'm never professed to be the hardcore Witcher person.
Yeah.
Like the franchise. I'm
Same here, to be clear. Yeah. Definitely more a Cyberpunk guy.
I'm more Cyberpunk, right? So I was like, let me get the temperature of the Witcher community. And bro, they were clapping back. They were like, if you think that you're going to come in here and put your foolishness over here without having any knowledge of the law and Ciri and breaking it down, I was like, oh, okay.
The fact checkers were getting to work.
Bro. Yeah. I was like, they had their community notes ready. I was like, okay. Yep. So it was, but enough of the nonsense. It looked great. CD Projekt, how is going to be announced for? The graphics is so crazy. It's announced for a GPU.
Unannounced. Unannounced GeForce RTX GPU. I was like, okay. All right. See you in like 2027, I imagine.
You already know. And it's going to push graphical fidelity. And I can't wait, man. Which is one of those ones, man.
Yeah, I'm super pumped to see where they take things here. Again, is this just knowing that in the talk they also have a remake of The Witcher 1 in development. They have some other Witcher spin-off project going. So for those who are huge Witcher fans, there's a lot on the way. And then for me, who's like a huge Cyberpunk fan as well, like they have the sequel in development. So that's really exciting. They have that new anime project they announced.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
There's a lot going on for both.
I will say before we move on, I am curious though, because at the end of the trailer, you hear Geralt's voice, the fate of Geralt. I'm very just curious about that.
Yeah, it seems like, because this is looking like much further into Ciri's life, and Geralt, I mean, Witcher 3 kind of like is the sunsetting of Geralt.
Right.
Like he's done. I in fairness, I have not played Blood and Wine, so I need to right that wrong like ASAP. But I know this is like the sunsetting of his story, and it was very clear, just the main story. Like this is the passing of the torch to Ciri, and just based on the ending you can get in that game, like what comes of it. Again, I won't spoil it, but just
we won't spoil.
Yeah, like this passing of the torch. So I feel like there's a couple of options. Like, I feel he could be dead, and they're kind of just what led to this moment. I feel he could be in the kind of Vesemir mentor role.
Okay.
Like there's a lot of ways. I think he'll be a prominent part of the game. I mean, Doug Cockle kind of already leaked before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he leaked before this was even a thing, that like he knows he's in the game, but he doesn't know if he's like the main character or not, which kind of signifies by your line count. If you're like, I don't know if I'm the main character, it's like you're probably the side character.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah, exactly.
Like you're not grinding the booth, bro. Like you're probably not the main character.
Fair enough.
So yeah, I expect him to be prominent in the game in some way. I just don't think he's going to be the main face, because Ciri's the main face now, which is cool. All right. Next up, Cog. Elden Ring Nightrein. It's coming 2025. This is a roguelike game. It's going for $40. It's going to have effectively survival mechanics. You have like X amount of days to beat this game when you start a run. There's 8 classes. We saw Sekiro movement and deflecting, but also for my Dark Souls brethren out there, for my Bloodborne brethren out there, we saw bosses, characters, callbacks to all of the previous Souls-like games.
Yes.
All of them. It was insane. This was one of the craziest announcements I've seen, because it was number one, did not like expect an Elden Ring game. I thought it was more DLC, but they was like, no, they're done with DLC. So right when I saw the world, I'm like, that's the lands between, bro. Like that is definitely like, what are they doing with Elden Ring? So I want to get your take first, because I know you're not a Souls guy, but I feel like they're coming for you right now. Like this is a multiplayer game. This is co-op. This is like Monster Hunter. And does this mean that From Software introduces a traditional invite system for the man, the myth, the legend, Lord Cognito? I wonder, what are you feeling about Elden Ring Nightrein, sir?
I'm going to give it a chance. I mean, obviously,
that's a step.
That's a step. Let's just say, because I I'm sorry, Elden Ring. I get mad at me, but I'm like, I have the worst co-op system in gaming. I'm sorry. Don't make me put up a bloody finger on a Tuesday and create a pentagram of blood and hope that my friend can find me in a forest just to play. Like, no. I got to get with the times and do a proper co-op system. So if it's that, and it looks like 3-player, right? It looked like I felt like I saw 3 players.
Thank you.
Look good. I mean, it looked like it's paying homage to, like, all the classic, Soul stuff. And I will say I'm willing to give it a shot if it's implemented correctly. You know what I'm saying? So I think it should be. I think it will be. I will say my biggest surprise with this was actually that it was a DLC, that it was a standalone game. Because while I'm watching it, I'm teasing. I'm like, oh, new DLC. Gonna be locked in for next year as a category for Game of the Year. I'm being messy because I assumed it was DLC, but then when the news broke, they're like, okay, no, this is standalone, bro. Like, this is co-op. Shout out to them, man. This should do extremely well, well. So I just want to learn more about how the implementation is. That's it.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this game. This is like one of the most interesting game reveals, because it is such a cool idea, but also just narratively speaking, this is like huge. Like they're pulling a thread, bro. They're literally pulling a thread and saying like, this is a unified universe now. And these bosses that you fought are back. Again, seeing characters from Bloodborne here was like, my friends and I were all out of our seats. Like, what the fuck? Like, this is insane. So I'm just really interested to see what they're doing narratively. I'm really interested to see, again, $40 standalone title, multiplayer. This is just so different for them. It's very fun, though. Very, like, I just love that their cadence has been incredible since Elden Ring. Like, new Elden Ring, then Armored Core 6, and then Shadow of the Erdtree, which is like a game unto itself, which won no awards, by the way, to my understanding. And then you have here Nightrein. I just, they continue to pump things out, man. I thought this would be the show that we got Bloodborne remaster or something like that. But you know what, man? I am happier with this personally. I know it's a hot take, but like this is
hot take.
Yeah, but like, I mean, I love Bloodborne. It's my favorite FromSoft game, but like this is really cool and different, and it's introducing Sekiro mechanics into Elden Ring. Like that is a really sick idea. And I mean, it kind of sells itself. Like I don't think I have to explain it further. Like you have X amount of days to beat all these bosses, boss rushing with your friends, monster hunting with your friends, just changing the dynamic of a Souls-like formula, embracing the cooperation. Like this is all stuff that I think is really cool. And I think it's going to influence, as it always does, their future games. So Watch this one closely. I think it looks really special.
Absolutely.
Next up, just a brief one, Cog. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is coming to PC, Steam, and Epic Game Store to be specific on January 23rd, 2025. Pretty quick moves.
That's pretty quick.
Pretty quick moves.
I ain't expected that fast.
I think this is more Square Enix than anything, right? Like they're trying to like get off of PlayStation effectively.
Yeah, bro. So that gives me a little bit more excitement for potentially the Xbox versions because the PC one is that quick. I felt that would be like middle of the year.
Yeah.
And now we're like, no, boom, January. Like that's like in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty big.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one. You know, especially as someone who doesn't have a PS5 Pro, I'm a little bit more interested in this version here.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So looking forward to that again for our PC fans out there. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth coming January 23rd, 2025. This one was an interesting one to me because I was talking to a group of friends the other night and we were going over The Last Guardian. I was like, what happened to the team behind that? Like, what's going on? And timing would have it that here we are, an Untitled Project from the developers of Eco, Shadow of the Colossus, and The Last Guardian shows up. It's from the team called Gen Design, to be clear. It's an Untitled Project, so there's no name for it. It's just like we're making a game. And this game, I don't know what's going on, but I am in. Like, I just love this giant alien mech that you're crawling on top of, and then a head turns into a shuttle, and you literally see the spine like dangling from it. Just, I think Geoff put it really well. I said this in my video. He put it really well. It just captured the imagination. I was just like, what's going on here? I want to know more. I'm interested. That pedigree obviously backs it up a lot. So I'm very keen to see what's happening here with whatever this game is. And hopefully it's not like The Last Guardian where it just shows up and is like, what happened to that game? Oh, yeah. And it's gone for a really long time. Like, I hope we see this one soon. It looks really cool. What did you think of this Untitled Project?
Totally a card game. I was like, oh, this is the essence of me. I was like, what is going on? It doesn't explain itself, but it's so wild. It's so out of pocket. Yeah, I saw the scale of the mech and them climbing, and I'm like, this looks amazing. And then the detach and whatever they were trying to get away from is what you need to be worried about. Because if you got that big mech and you running, remember it was like these black things, these creatures, entity was, like a swarm of entity was trying to get at this person. This person runs to a larger than life mech, and then mech is not enough. Where you have to run into the mech, detach it, and then fly away. What is this threat that you're dealing with?
Yeah.
You have my attention, and I love games like that where I have to try to make sense of what I'm experiencing. Those are cog love great games.
Big time, bro. This game looks cool, but I think for you and I, this next one, I think could be the biggest surprise of the show. Now, I will only take a minor victory lap because it's one of those moments where, like, I know I have the facts, but I'm surprised when I'm right. I did say The Outer Worlds 2 was in development and coming sooner than people expect because not an inside scoop. You just looked and immediately after the DLC, immediately after the release of The Outer Worlds 1, they were working on it. This was not even like post DLC. Like they were already like mapping this thing out right away. It sold really well. They were like, we got something. Like, let's go make another one. And they immediately jumped to it. So I knew this had to be sooner. For Obsidian to be like, hey, we know we did a double feature 1 year. We did Pentiment and Grounded. To now double feature with 2 big RPGs on both ends of the year. I at least assuming so, right? That this will be the end of the year. Is crazy. I was so giddy looking at this, bro. I was so excited because I think The Outer Worlds is just good shit from top to bottom. So I love this trailer. I love the little nod at Fallout 3 Part 2. Just little acknowledgement there. That was great. But the humor's there. These worlds look beautiful. The science weapons look so crazy. Like there's just so much here that like I was getting into that kind of voice. Like, you know, when I get really excited, I get like teenager almost, like I just get squeaky and all manliness fades from me. That's what The Outer Worlds 2 was doing to me, bro. I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe it's this soon. Like, let's go. Like next year. Like I wanted that. I thought it was possible just based on what I knew, but I'm like, yeah, maybe Avowed, you know, had a couple bumps along the way, took away from bro. This I thought looked great. I was so excited. What did you think of The Outer Worlds 2? I'm surprised you're not in your Obsidian shirt today.
I know. Bro, again, when Outer Worlds 2 is a footnote.
Oh, you think it's a footnote? Wow, this is like a major.
It's so many games, bro. First thing is, no, this is major. Let's be clear. This is the black rock. Let's be clear. But for me, I thought there was no way. You are right. We had the information that they were ahead of the game. You heard it. I had the lead writers on from Outer Worlds 1 on ILP.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, yeah, we're hard work. They kind of inferred it multiple times, but the thing is, I all looked at it like Avowed is the thing for Obsidian 2025.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine. Take your time, whatever.
Yeah.
The fact that they're coming with 2 heavy hitter IPs in 1 year, it threw me off. I thought this would be a 2026 game.
I'm just looking at this trailer now. Like, these environments look so good.
They look so good. The biomes, and the thing, when that music and that title screen music hit,
mm-hmm.
I lost it. That's one of the greatest title music themes going for a new IP. Then I'm seeing the combat, the humor of they understand themselves. That's what I love about Outer World. They know what type of game they are. They know what they're going for. And I'm looking at the combat, the explosions, the biomes, the weapons. Like, that was the only thing that really needs to improve is to make the combat a little tighter. I see him freeze an enemy, blow him up, do all. I'm like, oh, they are doing it. Bro, all I kept saying is Xbox's 2025 is crazy.
Yeah, this is like the one thing we unfortunately missed in that banked holiday episode, because we're like, I don't think we expected that at all. Like, oh yeah, they're gonna put the Outer Worlds 2 in their window of 2025. I don't know.
Bro, crazy. Now we do got to talk about the elephant in the room, though. At the end of said trailer, there was a PlayStation 5 logo.
Were you surprised by that?
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
I'm gonna tell you why. Not because we know about this is an Xbox. Remember, we talked about case by case, but here's the reason why it's confusing.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I can't play Outer Worlds. I don't want to play, but Avowed, an Obsidian game, early in the year, not coming to PlayStation. Outer Worlds 2 later in the year. You see, like the inconsistency in the message. That's what just threw me off. I was like, Now I understand the logic, because Outer Worlds 1 was private division on everything.
Yeah.
But and 2, maybe the logic is like, yo, everything, because they've already had an establishment with that franchise, like a Doom, so to speak. So is it a situation because, this is where the messaging, if Matt Booty doesn't come out and say that recent comment about case-by-case basis to be opening the door for the red line thing not being, we're back, you see what I'm saying? The messaging again, that is just confusing. I just try to understand it. Is it a situation because Avowed is a new IP? Right?
Yeah, I think so. I that would be my guess, because the Outer Worlds I fully expect to be on PlayStation. I was like, there's no way this, just based on what Xbox
so you felt it from jump.
Yeah, like I swear on my life I didn't even blink when I saw it. I was like, yeah, this is like literally within my expectations of like Xbox going more multi-plat, but also like this is what I think when they got Bethesda, like existing franchises, or I think Phil said franchises with legacy. I'm like, yeah, this is definitely
okay.
Like, this is one with legacy technically, and we're starting to get those answers now. And so I'm like, okay, if you were an existing franchise and you were on PlayStation, your next entry will likely be on PlayStation. If you're a new IP, Indiana Jones and Avowed, we're seeing that there's a light.
Indie was like
Yeah, I know. They're confusing as fuck. I get it, but at the same time, I just assume everything's eventually going to get to PlayStation at this point. Okay. So when I saw the Outer Worlds 2, I'm like, okay, cool. Like this makes sense. Like, this was all like, based on what Xbox has said, my question would be, why would you make that exclusive after everything, right? Not that you're fully advocating for it. I get it. It's the messaging. But that logo at the end, I didn't really think too much about. I was still reeling from the fact that like we actually got like not just a look, but a big look.
A huge look. That game is ready to go. Talk to me.
When I saw KOTOR 2 in the opening logo, my heart dropped. I literally said, I was like, yo, they can't do that to me. I was like, they cannot do that to me.
Yeah, the makers.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, he's going crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, man, but like the science weapons look really cool. Like, I mean, the combat looked way better just by variety of weapons. These worlds look way bigger and expansive and pretty. And we actually did get really any looks at characters, which is kind of interesting, because I remember the reveal for the Outer Worlds 1 was Ellie was like the main face of that trailer. But you didn't really get that here. You just got a hilarious narrator who was just, I think he said at one point, he's like, we put everything here in the game that we should have the first time around. Like,
yo, I was dying.
Yeah, like they just have a great sense of humor at Obsidian, man. They really do. And
Black Rock, baby.
I don't mean to keep circling about conversations on conversations, but I was very curious. How will this be received, right? In light of everything that happened with Valve, I was like, dude, it's been great. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm glad that we can separate the two, you know? I'm glad that that's what's happening here. But I was worried because I was like, oh man, like I'm excited. Like, dude, it's a fucking Obsidian game. Like, of course I'm in.
I mean, we got to talk about it now. Like, bro, again, like, bro, they're dropping Avowed and Outer Worlds 2 in 1 year?
Yeah. Dude, that's a feast. That's a feast. That's amazing. Like, especially because, again, what we played, we don't know what the full product will be like. We'll keep disclosing that until it's done. But what we played of Avowed was pretty convincingly good.
Yes.
Like, so it's not like we're looking at one dud and one savior. We're looking at like two fucking great games potentially that are at Obsidian's strengths too.
It's getting to that point. I just look at them as a studio, and it's just getting to that point where it's just like they're just invaluable as far as the output and the quality of the output and the variety of the output. Like I get it. You could say other people punch higher than them graphically, and that's fair. But man, when it comes to consistency, it just feels like they are unmatched with what they're doing over there, and that's why they're still my favorite, man.
Well, now, Cog,
let's get it.
This opens up a very, very interesting conversation for Obsidian Entertainment, does it not?
I know where you're going.
Oh, y'all are available after this year? What could they possibly work on after this? Remember what I said? I think it was last show. I was like, sprint Outer Worlds 2 out the door and make yourself available.
You did say that.
I said, make yourself available.
Yeah.
So what are we thinking?
I mean,
what's next? I don't mean to put the cart before the horse here, but what's next?
In conjunction with certain movies that you have going on that seem to be placed in the timeline of a game that you actually developed for a major franchise. I mean, hey, it would seem to be perfect timing.
Yeah.
To, lend your talent, take your talents to the Fallout franchise.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I think this makes a lot of sense. And I think that's the one part of the conversation that's kind of flying under the radars. I don't see anyone being like, so Obsidian's free.
They're free after this.
You have like maybe Grounded too, but they're free.
Yeah, exactly. And that's Adam Finnick and his team, right?
That's a small division.
But that's a smaller team. You got Josh Sawyer just chilling there. And you got, like I said, Carrie Patel's the numbers going to be finished with Avowed. Like, they're finished.
And let's be honest, teams are going to be free, bro. It's like,
Avowed is really finished. They were saying, right? Like, I don't know if it's gold, but they were doing tweak and stuff like that. We get this at Outer Worlds. It feels like Outer Worlds been ready. Like,
again, that's been in development for a while. So that's why, I was just surprised to be like, oh my God. Like, again, with Avowed having we've heard speed bumps along development. Right. I thought maybe that set back the Outer Worlds, but for it to be like, oh no, it just trucked on alongside it and they're releasing this game year. Like, it's a 9-month difference, maybe.
Bruh.
Insane.
I'm with you. Yeah. I don't want to get too crazy, but it does. The timelines do match. It does feel like they are free. And now, because you could have told me Outer Worlds 2 2026, and I'd have been like, yeah, no problem. Makes sense. They could do it. 2025 ready. 2026 is free. 2027. Like, they got time.
Yeah, because remember the timeline and predictions by at least yours truly was the remake remasters come first to sort of satiate. Yep. By this point, after everything that happened with the TV show, they got to be like, let's ramp this shit up at least a little bit. You get this project kind of going. We're looking at, knowing Obsidian, bro, this shit could be out in 3-4 years at their base.
Their work rate, their productivity.
I'm just throwing it out there that I feel like that game could, New Vegas 2 could come sooner, but a New Vegas before, we'll say 2030, and setting up Fallout 5 to be the next mainline entry after Elder Scrolls 6. It's unbelievable how perfectly it lines up. I'm like, they have the CEO begging for it, dude.
Bro.
They have to be doing it.
Have to. I would hope so.
It's at the point where I'm like, I know what season 1's finale teases, but what Jonathan Nolan said, I'm like, hold on. What are you getting at, brother? Like,
Hey
what are you
now.
getting at?
Hey now. Let's see.
So I don't know, bro. But I mean, look, Obsidian, kudos to them. They're doing, and the thing is, bro, I remember Insomniac getting that same praise. I hope Obsidian gets that too if they deliver next year. I mean, they did it last time, and we were giving them praise for Grounded and Pentiment. But this is a much bigger undertaking. So if they pull it off, I hope they really do get the props to be like, yo, this team is doing like we think about it again. We see, we'll talk about Naughty Dog later. We see them once every 5 years. Bethesda Game Studios takes forever to come around too. Like we don't see these companies often. For Obsidian to be as good as they are and come around as often as they do is a real big blessing, man.
Hell yeah.
It really is. So I love their stuff. I'm very excited to see what the Outer Worlds 2 is cooking. I will say, and I don't want to get down on Avowed, but I will just say, seeing that I'm going to get the Outer Worlds 2 later this year was like, all right, so Avowed, even if like I end up not liking it, we're good, bro. Like I'm so taken care of.
So similar,
bro. I'm a sci-fi head. Like that's
what bro. He said to say that he's like, that's cool and all, but Outer Worlds is here, so I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm like,
your wands down, y'all. It's time to pick up the crazy science weapons of the Outer Worlds 2.
I love Outer Worlds 2. I'm gonna push back. If I'm gonna have a beef,
you're an Elder Scrolls guy. So this is the thing. It's to your taste.
Avowed is for me. So like, don't get me wrong. I know Outer Worlds. See, Outer Worlds, the only issue was that, which it looked like they addressed that, was the combat. My only issue, the combat Outer Worlds, you just hit the slow down button, but this looked like they did the combat. Where Avowed is speaking to me is I love that combat now. And then the flexibility so don't get me wrong, but this is an abundance of riches, right? It's dude. It's what you like. And that's the beauty of Obsidian right now.
I'll just say that after feeling so burnt by certain AAA Western RPG experiences this year, I am so excited that like one of my favorite Western RPG developers, of which I've played some of their games as well. You know what I'm saying? Like I played a little about, so I feel good about that. I'm like, okay, the GOAT is here to deliver twice in a year. I mean, bro, talk about like just my hope and a prayer, like getting answered. So I'm feeling good about them. I'm feeling good about them. Could be famous last words. I don't know. I don't fucking know the future, but I'm pulling for them on Avowed, and I feel pretty good about the Outer Worlds 2. I think Outer Worlds 2 will come down to characters. I really do, because everything looked great, but I need to know that cast. I need to know those companions, because those really put Outer Worlds. Like Outer Worlds 1 gameplay technically wasn't great, but you had a character like Parvati, Vicar Max, Ellie, really developed in the DLC. Just a great cast for the most part. There were some stragglers. Forgetting her name, lady with the braids. I'm forgetting her name.
Oh, I forgot her name. Yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah, yep.
Sam was like an attempt at HK47 that wasn't good. Like, so it wasn't perfect, but I think if they make a better cast this time around or carry over some familiar faces, hell yeah.
Oh yeah, we in.
All right. Well, let's move along here, Cog. That's coming Game Pass 2025, especially. Split Fiction. This is Joseph Ferris's team's next game. It's from Hazelight. March 6th? What? March 6th next year. And it looks great. I'm like, what the fuck, man? I totally get why this dude was out there flexing. Did you see his he kind of dropped the same bar, but did you see his pre-launch trailer? They were touring the studio. He's like, some people ask me why I'm cocky. He's like, when you have games this fucking awesome, like, how could you not be? I'm like, bro, I love this guy's energy.
The flex is crazy.
I love his energy. Game looks fantastic, though. I love that he named the characters after his daughters. I thought that was really sweet, really endearing. But this just looks like, it literally looks like It Takes Two on fucking crack. Like, it's just crazy gameplay mechanics.
Hell yeah.
He's like, you were playing as a hot dog on a grill. What's the hell going on? I'm in, bro.
Hey, Glizzy's in the game.
Yeah. Glizzy grilling in the game. What are our thoughts, Cog?
Amazing. Look, man, he's the master. Listen, one of my favorite things of all time as a gamer is co-op gaming. And he has now become a master in the space. And the thing that's beautiful, like, again, obviously, I remember when I first saw him, I was like, dude, too cocky. He need to relax. I remember when I first ever saw him. That was during the No Way Out days.
Yeah.
Before whatever. And I like No Way Out. Don't get me wrong. And he did some really cool things there. But this game looks amazing. Again, like you said, it's like, It Takes Two on steroids. The thing also, what I liked is it was like Cyberpunk and Horizon had a baby with two different biomes that go in between each other with all.
It's also like fantasy at times.
Fantasy,
it was modern. It was really weird. I mean, it's the name Split Fiction, right? Like there's just a lot of different forms of fiction, but it's just really interesting.
And a medley of genres,
Yeah,
packed in all of this stuff. Yeah, I'm confident in the man. The man, he sold me. He's got that space on lock, and it looks amazing. I like the unique approach he's taken.
Absolutely. So that's a, that's a one that you put on the calendar. Appointment gaming. I need to finish It Takes Two before this one for sure. Next up, Cog, we have here Killing Floor 3. I don't have too much to say about this one. Killing Floor 2 was a good time. This is coming March 2025. Doesn't look bad at all, but I'm kind of over these sort of horde mode games. So if you have anything to say, fire away.
This was the one that kind of was like Doom-ish, Left 4 Dead, bullet hell, violence. Not really my
Violence
speed.
The game.
Violence the game. You know what I'm saying? Not my speed. I wouldn't say it looked particularly bad or anything. It just it wasn't nothing that stood out for me. That's like, okay, day one for me. But there's going to be people that love that.
Yeah,
balls to the wall, frenetic pace, kill everything, blow everything up, decapitate.
Yeah, this was like technically the first dip. I mean, you just went through all of these announcements, and this is like to me the first like, all right, it doesn't look bad. After this, we see The Long Dark 2. This one seemed the furthest out of everything that got a date. Early access in 2026. But artistically, it looked really good. I was really into what they were putting there. But I've never played the Long Dark. I don't know anything about it. So you seem like you did a little hand rub. So you seem more informed than me. What'd you make of this one? This was not like a big reveal for me personally.
Yeah, this Long Dark was a very weird one for me. It was in the cut, I believe, during the Xbox One era. That was Hinterland Games. What's crazy is I called it the minute the trailer started showing. Before everybody's like, how do you know this? I'm like, bro, I remember that developer and I remember the face of the main character. So this looks like, one, he's got a budget, more characters, and I love the idea of Long Dark, of surviving in a winter wilderness and having to stay warm. And so I think that I could tell my man got a budget.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm a big Long Dark fan. So I'm pulling from I loved what I saw. Super hyped for him.
Yeah. It did look really good. Again, early access, I've gone over my mantra before, but I'm definitely interested. It looks solid.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next up, this is a big one. This was pre-announced. We knew it would be here. 2K brought Borderlands 4. It's coming 2025. And this was what I define as a big earn it moment for Gearbox. Like, for me, my opinion of them as a team, and especially the Borderlands brand, has just been on like this massive decline. I had this moment, this kind of epiphany after Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, where I was like, I think this series is for teenagers. And I don't say that with like disrespect or anything. That's when I got into it. I was a teen and I loved Borderlands. Like Borderlands 1 and 2 are incredible games still to this day. But when I played 3, I was like, yeah, story sucks. Calypso twins are not good villains at all. I like the playable characters. I played as Flak Beastmaster. He was awesome. Gameplay was really strong. I was like, okay, this was fun to play, but like its character, its worlds, its stories, which really helped Borderlands more than it's given credit for, were completely gone for me. I was like, all right, maybe they missed with this one. It was in development for a while. Then we get Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, and like I just like have that same exact experience. I'm like, gameplay's all right, although I didn't think it was as good as 3. But God, dude, like the writing, the characters, it just is so immature. And this is coming from an immature guy, but not the FUD immature. I think people know where I'm coming from, where I was just like, I was like, nah, like this just, it's not bad. Just doesn't feel for me. Then I see the movie this year, and the Borderlands movie is the worst thing I've seen this year.
Oh yeah.
Straight up. I think a lot of people spared themselves that theater going experience. Me and Laylee were the only ones in the theater, so it was that level of bad, if anyone wants a little bit of reference. But from everything from CG to writing to just honoring these characters and legacy, it is one of the worst pieces of fiction you can consume. No exaggeration. I really don't think for Borderlands fans, gaming fans, there's anything there. So yeah, I think that paints a clear picture of like, y'all need to earn it, because I have no faith in you right now to respect this franchise in any way. I did like to see that they were getting back to a grittier, darker Borderlands. You see right away, like there's a war breaking out. You see this villain character Snap, the psycho masks. You see they have this kind of cloak, very Illuminati style, but like the psycho mask, there's something kind of like they're quietly angry. It was intriguing. I was like, okay, that's step 1. Step 2 is playable characters. No.
Oh no.
Not at all, bro.
No.
I saw these and I was like, I literally thought that, oh, they're revealing them differently. Like the 4 walking side by side, this is like a story sequence or something like that. And that the actual playable characters are interspersed throughout. Like I saw an older version of Zane. I'm like, maybe they're bringing him back. I'm like, nope, these are the 4 playable characters. They look fucking abysmal, dude. It is Redfall vibes. Like that cast of characters that don't really, to me, depict like what was so. I mean, look at Borderlands 3. Like you had Flack, who is like a robot, but a beast master. Like there's these interesting carves into the world. Like Zero's an assassin.
Right.
Gage is as a necromancer, and so on. Like they all have these interesting cuts into the world.
I get you.
Tiny Tina being played, but like there's just a level of like, oh shit, like I get to see this character, but this one I was like, who the fuck are these people? Outside of one of them I recognize. Who the fuck are these people? And what, like, none of these inspire excitement to me at all. I'll keep an open mind, but like, I just think the playable characters are like everything in Borderlands. So maybe their personalities and their writing and combined with that more gritty style that I'm seeing in the trailers wins me over. But I don't know, bro. I saw these 4 and I was like, none of you. None of you.
What?
Yeah, it's not like I'm cherry picking, just to be clear. None
of
of these people look interesting to play as, fun to play as. They just don't really inspire me at all, excite me at all. So that's a huge miss for me. But it's funny because everything surrounding it, I was like, no, actually pretty good. Like this looks good. This looks like Borderlands, but it also looks like a bit of a return to the drawing board. It looks interesting. I didn't play Borderlands 3's DLC, so I don't know really what's getting set up here narratively, but like I'm kind of into it. It looks like based on the reveal trailer, like a moon is crashed, and so it's like completely changed sort of the dynamic visually of like Pandora and the world you're on, just everything. I'm like, okay, this is definitely interesting. So I'm keeping an open mind on the story front, but it's weird that the characters just like not at all. But I thought it looked solid.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it now. I thought it looked good. Again, I'm with you in the sense of it's still prove it energy.
Yeah.
You know, you've definitely hurt a lot of people, and a lot of people don't trust, and you got to regain. And obviously, Randy came outside. I'm like, oh boy, let's see how this gonna go, because you know how his energy be sometimes.
I want to like Randy so much, bro. I really do.
No, and then he do extra stuff sometimes. I'm like, oh, you know, kind of thing. But I'll be honest, like for me, I love the grit. I like the grit. I like the darker tone. Look, it's gonna have the humor. It's gonna have Borderlands, but if I like the aesthetic, what I've seen. They had the dudes with the Charlotte hats floating. I didn't know what they was. And then they had these other little cybernetic things going. I just like the energy of the game. Now, the characters I have to play, I have to see. You know, I admit, I'll push back. I wasn't like immediately off-put or anything by any of the characters that I saw, but I wasn't like wowed either. It's just one of those things. I got to see these characters, play them, but I liked what the game was offering. The style of the game and the aesthetic of the game really captivated me. So I'm like, all right.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give you a shot. Let's see what's going on.
The characters aren't a Borderlands problem. I think it's an industry problem. Like, there's just a lot of characters that don't look cool or exciting. I've gone over them ad nauseum. It's kind of like where I stand with writing. We're just like, it's just like a dying art right now this year, at least it feels like. I do also think the assessment of certain characters, one in particular in the show, like people just don't get the references or the source material, and that also shows. And I think there are cool looking characters or interesting looking characters that people just don't catch the nods as well as they maybe used to. But yeah, in this case, I was just like, no, these don't look exciting to me. But again, I'll keep it open mind because at least universe wise speaking, like that was step one. I was like, oh, and it's more serious. Like if it was goofy, I would be singing a fucking different tune right now, bro. I'd be like, what is this shit?
Yeah, that's why they got me, because I'm like, I like the tone already. Yeah. They killing it with that.
Yeah.
And, you know, the humor is going to be subjective, but we got to see that they nail that and make sure that the next.
Yeah. Next up, Cog, you're dressed for the occasion. Clive Rosfield, 2 Tekken 8 as the guest character. How do we feel about this one?
Oh, didn't see this coming. This was a big, because it's funny because the Tekken community, the Tifa mains were losing it. They were like, yo, what the F?
I definitely thought Tifa was a better fit, I'll admit.
Look, I thought so too. But Matt, have you seen this full. They didn't show the full reveal at the Game Awards.
Mm.
I'm gonna send you the link for the full reveal.
I thought he looked great. To be clear, I'm still excited to play as him.
Oh, not only did he look great, he looked great in the Game Awards reveal. But when Tekken, which I'm going to send you the link right now.
Okay, hit me with it.
You got to check. It is so. The music is so amazing. They nailed it. The background from 16. He's got
4 minutes. Wow,
bro. He's got the dog. He's got the summons going. He fits so perfectly with Kazuya and Jin with the devil gene stuff. Like, bro, like, and you owe it to watch it. I know you record it right now, but you owe it to watch this again with the music. The
stage looks so good too,
bro. Clive fits perfectly. I'm like, they did this on the utmost level, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was blown away. And we figured the fourth one would be a guest character. It looks like it's going to be one guest character per season. At the end, bro, he killed it. Like, it got me excited to play 16. I didn't even go hold you. Like, that's how much I was like, yeah, bro, to get that finished. I was like, man. And
so funny. You're going to know about his whole ability kit just by playing this game. That's so funny.
Bro, amazing. Yeah, they did that.
Yeah, I'm looking now. Yeah, the stage is really what gets me.
Oh, the stage is beautiful from the beginning of the opening joint, the castle. Like, come on, bro.
This guy's no doubt going to be busted.
He's definitely busted.
Yeah, like you just know.
Yeah, I'm getting Noctis energy. Like it's going to be crazy. For me. He's going to be terrorizing people.
Yeah, as a Yoshimitsu main, I mean, of course, I have no issue with sword characters in my Tekken. So
yes, you know how
I definitely think Tifa. I just look at her like move set, and it's like that's a wrap now. That's Tifa's not happening. You can't do.
I don't think it's happening. You can't have two. Yeah, you can't have two. So this was the one they went with, kind of thing. But yeah, I agree. But I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, that's coming December 16th. So
yeah, a few days.
By the time that show's out, it'll be there. So
yes, sir.
Enjoy that. And then we have next year, real quickly, Splitgate 2. It's coming 2025. Weird decision because the game was kind of popping off, and then they like took it away or something like that, and then decided to go make a sequel. And they're entering a really tough market where I'm like, I mean, best of luck to them. Of course, I hope it all works out, but I don't think this is a good choice. We'll see though. After this, though, Cog, RGG shows up with one hell of a Dreamcast era announcement, one hell of a Sega announcement. Virtua Fighter, it's back. And they showed off-screen gameplay, which is a little weird, but Virtua Fighter's here. What are we feeling? I mean, we kind of knew this was happening based on a recent news article that came out. Kind of wish they didn't do that because I didn't realize the reveal was this close where I'm like, oh, it's just starting. But no, like they actually had something to show. So I'm like, why don't you just wait till then? But to see it's here, it's real, and it's by RGG.
Bro,
kind of an interesting fit. Yeah.
That's the part. RGG in the fighting era. Wow. They were tasked to revive Virtua Fighters. This is a big deal. I kind of like it.
Isn't it interesting? Because a lot of people compare Shenmue and Yakuza in spiritual successor ways. And like the way Shenmue gave birth to Virtua Fighter might be the same way like Yakuza breathes life into Virtua Fighter by taking that combat system and bringing it. I'm like, what an interesting way to, I never would have thought of that, but it kind of makes sense, doesn't it?
You nailed it. That literally RGG and what they've done with Yakuza is the spiritual successor and how Shenmue should have evolved.
Yes.
They understand, right?
Yes.
So now they're taking Virtua Fighter. I think this might cook. It was so, not to say impressive because we got to play it. We got to see how the game systems are. And Virtua Fighter is extensively different in the sense that it has a guard button. Tekken does not have a guard button. They had that since like Mortal Kombat. So I want to see what the core gameplay is. But we saw off screen. I think this might be a good marriage. They might nail it. I mean, this is a new genre for them, but if anybody could do it, it's RGG, baby. Yeah. I will be paying attention. I like whoever that dude with the hat look fire. Like it's gonna be great. And if you want to throw,
I thought it was a new Judgment game at first. I was like, oh,
me too.
Yeah.
And if you want to throw, Yakuza, you want to throw a little Kiryu and a little Ichiban.
Oh, you know that Yakuza's gotta have presence here.
I mean, you got a plethora of characters to pull from.
Yeah, I hope they do. I think that'd be really cool. But this next one, Cog, Project Century, a new IP from RGG set in 1915 China. what is going on here? Dude, I will admit, when I first saw this, I was like, are they reviving Sleeping Dogs in like a prequel
Oh
or
yeah,
something? Because I saw the hand-to-hand, it was China. I was like, oh my God. I was like, what are they doing? But I'll take this. This is like close enough. Welcome back, Sleeping Dogs.
yeah.
But this looked really, I mean, it was really the setting, like the gameplay and the visuals, a little blurry and like not as great and refined, but the idea, the setting, I'm like, I'm just interested in what is happening here. I just want to be here.
1915,
Yeah.
bro. Japan, I am in, and it with RGG and a new bro. RGG, man, we got to talk about them now.
Yeah.
They had two IPs here that I'm like, bro, this is a new IP. To me, you know what I thought it was? I thought it might be Mafia or something like that. I didn't know what was going on, but I like your man with the black and the red robe. I like what's going on. I want to be in this world. There's that scene with the rain, and you have the two sickles and they walk. Oh my God, like this game looked crazy and brutal. That was the thing I didn't see from it. Brutal with the weaving and the combat. I'm looking at it right now again. Bro, this looks sick. I am all about Project Century. And we got to say it right now. Sega is absolutely cooking. Like Sega publisher is getting to the point, like, y'all don't want no smoke to say. Sega
Dude, they did all of this and didn't even touch Persona. Like,
and they sitting on that.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I said China earlier. Sorry. Japan.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You said that, but I want to make sure I was clear on that. Japan. But yeah, I'm very excited about this. I mean, I love what RGG is doing. I think they are a very fascinating developer because they got popular by reusing assets.
Yes, in a way.
And that is not something developers really think about, I don't think. Like, and by that, I mean, like, settings. Like, you're back in Kamurocho for the 6th time, but people loved it.
Love it.
It's a very interesting way. It's what's enabled them to get here where they're like, here's Virtua Fighter, here's Project Century, do another Yakuza game, by the way. They did all of this. They announced all of this while releasing annual Yakuza games. Like, we still have Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii.
Still.
Like, what?
Exactly.
Insane, dude.
Their work rate, right, is insane.
They're cooking, dude. They're cooking. Yeah. They're up there with Falcom, in my opinion, for just like output and quality and consistency. It's really impressive.
Insane, yeah.
Turok Origins gets revealed. This is from Saber Interactive in partnership with Universal. Turok, this does not really look like, honestly, just because Turok's a first-person shooter. And this is a third-person, almost like hero shooter looking style game. I don't know. It did not. I'm not a big Turok player. I don't know too much about the franchise, but this didn't really look Turok to me. I don't know if you have experience with the franchise, but what did this say to you?
I mean, I'm not a Turok guy, but I remember it from I believe the 64 days, and it was a big franchise. A lot of people like it. I'm not a Turok guy, but I will say, I thought it looked good. I mean, obviously, it's a departure from, first person, so to speak, but I thought it looked kind of cool. I ain't gonna hold you. Obviously, conceptual, a Saber, we'll see. I like the suits. I like what they were doing. I'm willing. You have my attention. As the non-Turok guy, you have my attention. And the when they were doing the bow and the shooting, and I thought it looked real cool. I ain't gonna hold you.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. I just, for me, I have Turok Evolution in my collection. Every Turok game I've seen is a first-person shooter. I'm like, why is this third person? Like, why change that? So
it is interesting choice.
I'm interested to see their reasoning behind that. Real quick, some updates to games to fly through. We have Helldivers 2 up first. They dropped the new updates out right now. Are you planning on checking this one out? It looks like it adds like almost like an alien force to the game or something.
Yeah, I'll check it out. I'll definitely check it out. It looks cool.
Yeah, that one. I'm out on Helldivers 2 now. I'm a Marvel Rivals guy.
You're a Marvel Rivals
guy. So I'm taking. Same thing goes for this game, which I think this update looks really excellent. Warframe 1999. I'm like, this looks really fucking cool. I am not playing it right now, but this looked really good. I was like, again, to me, for a lot of people, they're like, oh, this is where the show is ass. And I'm like, these look great. Like, these updates all look great. They're just not for games I'm playing right now. This actually next one we'll talk about in a second, I think did look awful. We'll talk about that, like I said. But any thoughts on Warframe 1999?
Shout out to my man Flame from LordsOfGaming.net. He is the Warframe connoisseur. I knew about this game for a while. No, it looks fantastic. Warframe does what Warframe does. But again, which I always tell Flame when he gets mad, is like, I don't have the bandwidth for all these live service games.
So tough to get into.
You got to commit. It's like a marriage. You got to commit. You can't have all these, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, you got to stay home with somebody.
Absolutely. So next up, we see Palworld Feybreak. This update is arriving this month. And this looks fucking terrible, dude. I'm sorry. And this is the one thing on the show that I looked at and went, you look awful. Clean yourself up, figure it out. I thought this game would be at least running better. At least running better by this point. With how many players it has, how much support it has, how much money they've got. I thought the frame. How are you coming out with a trailer for a game that's been out for what, almost 12 months now, with frame rate like that, visuals like that? Have some fucking pride, dude. You get 20 plus million players, and this is how you show off an update. That frame rate was abysmal. I was like pissed when I saw it. I was like, what the fuck are you guys doing, man? Like, this is what you do? You get all this money, all this player count, and that's your update? And I mean, to be fair, like the cinematics they do beforehand look great. I'm like, oh yeah, this just activates the Pokemon spirit. I'm in. Mm-hmm. And I see the game, I'm like, like again, the frame rate especially, I was just like, what the fuck happened, dude?
Yeah. I mean, I got too much to add. It was same thing, like me and Ag was just kind of saying, like, yo, how are companies allowing themselves to put that out there like that? Mm-hmm. And as far as that level of quality to be shown in a trailer. And for me, what I gathered from it is, hey, we're not ready just yet, but we cannot miss this moment of the Game Awards. Put it out. Mm-hmm. That's what I got from it. And it's a shame because it didn't do it any justice. And hopefully they get that fixed before, because we all like Palworld, but it's just like, bro, you can't show a trailer like that.
It's not acceptable. Not acceptable. Not convincing to be like, oh, get back into this thing. Like for me, as someone who was like, nah, this thing I'll play when it's all ready and they're done, kind of like doing asset flips from like Unreal Engine storefront, like I'll hop in. And to hop in and be like, oh, a year later almost, and you guys are still doing the same bullshit. I'm like, no, miss me with that. All right, this one. What a hell of an announcement, bro. I thought it was Neo 2 at first, but it's Onimusha Way of the Sword. Oof. This is an important one, bro. Capcom really brought back some nostalgia with this showing here. Just when you think it's time for them to just cozy on up with Monster Hunter, let's roll into that. Let's collect our coin. Here they are with Onimusha. It's back. It's a thing. It's real, bro. What is your take on this? This is one of the OG kind of ninja games for COG, I feel.
Hell yeah. I remember when Onimusha dropped. That changed the game because it was Resident Evil with a spin. It was the Resident Evil format, but horror, samurai, brutal. When I saw this, we were like, what is going on? It looked phenomenal. Sov is a huge fan of this game. People have been screaming for a while. I thought the setting looked fantastic. I mean, obviously it wasn't, it was cinematic, but when I saw that character, I'm like, yo, it looks so brutal. So, and the finishes and the style, like, as long as they don't get too soulsy, they stick with the core Onimusha, what you are known
one of the
for.
Key inspirations for Souls, you know?
Exactly. Stick to what you know. Don't try to ride the wave. Do what you do. I will be in. But now it looks phenomenal. Oh yeah, I'm so happy Onimusha is back.
Yeah,
fantastic.
I'm looking forward to trying it out. I want to play the original. I don't know how many there are, but I know there's at least two.
At least two.
Yeah, I want to try those out, see what's going on there. But very keen to see what they're doing with this one. This is coming out again 2026, so it's a ways off, but pretty big announcement. Capcom's been on a roll, so they're just in that phase where there's no reason for me to look at that and go like, oh, this might be bad. It's like, nope, this will probably be very good. So here we are with Onimusha. Next up, the First Berserker. This is a DNF game, a Dungeon and Fighter game. There was actually two shown off here. We'll get into the second one next. This is coming out March 27th, 2025. They showed that date off with no gameplay. It was a cinematic trailer. And I'm sorry, but all my red flags, my red alarms going off on this one, bro. Any showing of gameplay this has had has looked bad. And then you give us a date with cinematics. I think that's very telling. What are your thoughts?
I don't really have much to add. I still have gained nothing from this game. I don't know what's going on. Again, until I see the gameplay,
it just doesn't look. It's very rough. It does not look like it's ready anytime soon. Frame rate wise, performance, visuals, mechanics, like it doesn't look.
I mean, it's brutal.
Very ready to go.
It's dark. I don't know what to get. I still don't get it. I mean, what I mean is like that true moment to moment gameplay.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I don't get enough of that updated. So it
They
is
have a
what it is.
first 15 minutes of gameplay here on their YouTube channel. This is from 4 months ago.
All right, yeah, send me
Very, I
that's what
mean,
I'm
I don't
missing.
think you will like this. This is very
Soulsy?
Soulsy. Yes.
Yeah. No, I mean, but I mean, I remember it looking good, kind of thing. We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It just feels like they're burying it. I could be wrong, but like my senses are hiding it. At the same time, there's certain bits of gameplay that don't like. I'm looking at this right now. This doesn't look awful. It looks like kind of budget Souls, but
Right.
I feel like some people would like it. But again, it just feels like it's being hidden. I don't know. I can't shake that feeling away. But I'll keep an open mind because again, I love these types of games. So I want to enjoy it. I want to play it.
Yeah.
But then we get this next one, and this started to signify a little bit of an issue, in my opinion.
All right, bring it up.
Arid Dungeon and Fighter. This looked like Genshin Impact, and there were a lot of games that looked like Genshin. There was Wuthering Waves, there was Arid, there was a bunch of Hoyoverse content.
Oh yeah, Giants.
They all look the same. It's getting bad. I love these types of characters. I am becoming Lockmort now. I am looking at them like, what the fuck? Like, why can't we think of something different? But it's what you said, Cog, about Onimusha. Don't ride that wave. I'm seeing a lot of people ride that Genshin wave, and as much as this game's characters and its production quality,
I remember this
there,
one.
I literally saw this and thought, like, oh, this has to be a Hoyoverse game, and it was not. I forgot in the middle of the trailer they just announced there's another game in the DNF Dual Universe. This is not a Hoyoverse game. I'm sorry. I know Hoyoverse doesn't have a death grip on anime, but we know they have a character style and approach to who they present, how they present them, and like it's that colorful collection of characters of all ages, all types, all walks of life, with all different hair colors and all different weaponry from all different eras. It's just a catch-all, and it's fucking insane, and it's absurd, and that's what made Genshin and Honkai and Zenless Zone Zero so captivating to people. But now there's so many competitors that are like, hey, what if we did the same thing? And this is another one. So I'm not really feeling super attracted to this universe they're trying to build out beyond the MMO for Dungeon Fighter, because they look to be just saying like, oh, a Souls like, let's do our own. Oh, Genshin, let's do our own. And I'm okay. I'm okay personally. Any thoughts on Arid?
I thought you'd be all over this. I thought you'd be doing backflips.
No. I have more self-respect than that. Come on now.
Look, for me, while I'm watching it, I was laughing because I was like, three of the look, it's a very beautiful, colorful looking game, and we get the style, right? But for me, when I looked at three of the characters, I'm like, one of them looked like a straight rip of Lee Chao Lang from Tekken with the silver hair. He had the blue outfit. Then another dude looked like Alonzo from Metaphor with the hat and the thing. What's my man name? This is Alonzo.
Oh yeah, Alonzo. Yeah.
Yeah, with the hat, the one that give you the fake acclaim. So I was like, yo, I like that. And I'm just starting to see the archetypes. I was just laughing. I'm like, yo, this is funny to me. But I have no interest. But it was a beautiful looking game.
It does. That's the thing. Production quality is there.
And they were in the sky doing some Xenoblade Chronicle stuff. So God bless. Let me, the peeps will let me know how.
None of these gacha games like Infinity Nikki came out recently. That's apparently really good too. Like I'm not saying none of these games are bad. Like I've enjoyed my time with Genshin that I played. Honkai Star Rail is really good. They were like deeply inspired by Trails. Like these games are great. I just need for the ones like Hoyoverse took up most of the territory. For those of you who are coming in, you need to kind of like, what's the twist? What's the difference? Right. You can't blend in so much that people accidentally download it thinking it is a Hoyoverse game. That's not right. Okay. Next up here, we got Dying Light the Beast. It was already announced, but it's coming summer 2025 is the confirmed window. We got a little bit of cinematics. All of it, they said right when the cinematic stopped, it was like, this is gameplay. I was like, okay, this looks really good. The gameplay itself, serious, darker, more survival. Like Techland always has my confidence. I'm always interested. Like, I love Dying Light 2. Dying Light 1, of course, speaks for itself. So I'm interested to see what Dying Light the Beast is. It looks like a really good time. Again, I'm always picking up what Techland's putting down. So what are your thoughts on Dying Light the Beast?
I'm not like a Dying Light guy kind of thing. I know, again, you and Addict share goddamn the same gaming the same way. Every time like talking to him and you was the same person sometimes. But he's big on this. And no, I was watching. It looked good. Look, they're creative in the space. I love the wall running though. I've always been a fan of that. That's like super cool. And it was one more other. Oh, Attic had to correct me because when I'm watching, I'm like, oh, he drop kicking people with 2 feet. This game is crazy. He's like, bro, they been had that. I was like, for real?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was the biggest thing with Dying Light 2 is because you could get on these rooftops where like humans would be chilling and you just drop kick them, and like that's the primary way of attacking.
I think that is the most hilarious, disrespectful thing to do to somebody. When you drop kick somebody with 2 feet is the funniest thing to me.
Bro.
So I have to admit, I was like, all right, Dying Light. I kind of like it.
Yeah, no. Oh yeah. Have you not played Dying Light 2 at all?
I've never really rocked with Dying Light.
At all?
At all.
Oh wow.
Too
Oh,
many
you
genre
love it,
games.
dude.
He said, I love it too. He be trying to fight me to get on that game. I'm like, bro, all right. Because I used to, I would be on stage. I know. That's what he was saying. He's mad at me because he's like, you would like it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of those things. There's other games that pull me away. And I'm like, all right, I'll get to it. And you know how I get. When I love something else, you ain't pulling me off.
Of course, I get that.
But in his defense, he said, this is the one. Like, he's like, bro, you will like this. I'm like, all right, I gotta
Yeah, I don't know if I have to look into it a little more. I don't know if Dying Light the Beast is like a mainline entry or if it's like, I mean, technically it's not. There was Dying Light 1, 2, and then the Beast. But I'm saying, like, I don't know when this takes place or what's really going on story wise, because I don't remember much of Dying Light's story. It's not much to write home about. The choices in 2 are really cool, though. You get like factions that favor you and you'll get different perks and they'll kind of populate different parts of the world. Like, it's very reactive in a cool way, but it affects the gameplay more so. Like, they'll lay out, like, if you side with one faction, like they'll lay out like literal trampolines basically for you, almost like a Sunset Overdrive where you'll be like run through the world, like bouncing over buildings. It's fucking cool, dude. The movement's great. I think you would love this game. Definitely keep an eye on this one. I think you'd have a good time with it.
I gotta give it a shot.
All right. Well, what I'm not giving a shot is Fortnite Ballistic. This is a Counter-Strike Fortnite, and again, I'm a taken man. I got a shooter right now.
You married. Yeah.
Any thoughts on this one?
Not got much. It's Fortnite. They're gonna Fortnite. They're the biggest thing. Salute to them. They're the biggest thing in gaming. They continue to evolve, innovate themselves, and it just amazes me how much I've never seen something so dominant so long.
Yeah, absolutely. Squid Game Unleashed. This is a Netflix game. It's coming December 17th. Any thoughts on this one?
I'm more so happy that obviously we're getting season 2, which other damn Squid Game, which I love. The game, like the game. Crazy on that. For me, it's about that movie announcement. That's where I was at.
Yeah. I haven't finished season 1, so.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Well, I got a little ego with it at a time, right? I started watching. I was like, Danganronpa did it first, man. What the fuck is wrong with y'all? I'm like, enough of this. Enough.
Damn it, man.
Yeah.
Damn it.
You know what's mad funny is I remember what was I playing? I was playing something in handheld, and Laylee, who loves Squid Game, was watching the kind of reality TV show version of Squid Game, and these people were like playing basically real life Squid Game without like actually dying. And I watched all of that through. So I've done it wrong for sure.
Oh, bro, Squid Game is so good, bro.
Yeah,
I was hooked.
Yeah. I watched, I think, 2 episodes or something like that. And I got my fold my arms energy. I was like, bro. Like, Makoto Naegi is rolling in his grave right now, man. Come on.
Take your dang rough out of. We understand who the GOAT is.
Especially now hearing you like it. I'm like, bro, I handed you the keys to the castle years ago.
Because nobody trying to mess with that bear. We about this, though. We about this. Them suits and the ominous and the grown, the mature version. You did it first. Right? Danganronpa did it first. You got the concept first. We will bend the knee to you. Yes.
Even the color scheme, man, like punch in the air.
I feel you. I'm just saying for us, the older demographic, this is how you get us to get in.
Yeah. Well, so you'll play Danganronpa now? I was saying the other day, I forgot who I was talking to, but I was saying the other day, I was like, I feel like Cog was on the cusp. It's like, no, he wasn't. But I was like, I feel like deep down, there was a part of Cog that knew he really liked what he was playing. And he just,
I love the concept though. Yeah. I will say, I love the concept of people getting murdered and you don't know what the hell happened and they trap. I think it's the funniest thing in the play.
Fucking amazing.
Oh, it's great.
All right. Stage Fright is up next. This is from the developers of Overcooked. What did you think of this one, sir?
Remember this one. This is, I'm looking at it right now. Oh, yeah, nah. I was good on this one. Yeah, it was too much.
Yeah.
Overcooked is fire, though.
Yeah, Overcooked's amazing. It just feels like they took that co-op formula and they kind of wanted to do what Hazelight is doing, but I didn't get a feel for like what the actual gameplay was going to be.
That,
And I feel like so many developers struggle with that reveal. Like, what am I doing?
yep,
Sometimes it's easier to communicate, and I get that, but like these are Joseph Ferris's games. I've always known like, oh, this is what I'm doing. It felt like this one was very tucked away, and
yeah. They spent so much time on the characters. I didn't get an idea of what the game is besides a split screen and two people running. I was like, what am I doing? So
yeah. After this, we get a mobile game that I actually didn't know at first was a mobile game, and kudos to them because it actually looked pretty solid. This is Game of Thrones King's Road,
bro,
and it's coming 2025. Better late than never is what I say. I'm like, okay, like this, I feel a Game of Thrones RPG of some kind was due for a while, but you see Jon Snow, you see Jaime, Cersei Lannister. I'm like, okay. Even if it's available on mobile, I'm like, this does look pretty good. I didn't see any mobile game energy outside of the visuals, so I'm keeping an open mind to it. I'm like, this actually looked really neat. And I, granted, have not finished Game of Thrones. I've heard that I probably shouldn't bother, but
and it's a little rough. But
yeah, I got to this. I got to the 6th season, and that's when I stopped.
Not far.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I was.
You rocked.
So I remember when I was in college, I think I asked for Game of Thrones seasons 1 and 2 for Blu-ray, and I mean, dude, I was like fucking dialed in. Like I was so in up until season 4. Like some of the best television I have ever seen. Red Wedding, of course, iconic.
Red Wedding broke me, bro.
Full of twists and turns, like people dying when I'm like, no fucking way. Like, just all throughout that story, just so everyone was at risk of dying, and that's what made it so captivating for me. And they were not afraid just to rinse like 10 characters at once and be like, yep,
straight up.
Sorry.
Your favorite. They get you your favorite out of it. You like, oh, yo, I like that character.
Yep. Really good stuff. So I'm excited about a game in that universe. I remember there was a rumor that a Bethesda Game Studios was going to maybe make a Game of Thrones game years ago. This is a long while ago. I remember that was a rumor. So to see this, I'm like, oh, interesting. Like this actually can still be a thing. Again, I'm surprised it took so long, but it's here. Game of Thrones King's Road. Any thoughts on this one?
I thought it looked phenomenal. I was surprised too when I found out it was a mobile game. I was like, this looked good. It just pissed me off because as a Game of Thrones fan, and I heard that music and the goosebumps start happening, and I'm start watching, I'm seeing the memorable characters, and I'm like, kind of a missed opportunity that Game of Thrones really didn't take advantage in their peak of having a parallel video game in the same vein of a Harry Potter. Like they really missed out. The only one I could think of was like Telltale had that little
Game of Thrones game. That was the only thing that came to mind when you were speaking about it. Yeah.
Bro, missed opportunity. They should have been all over this for how long it went. So yeah, I ain't gonna front though. I might break my mobile. That game looked kind of lit.
Yeah, if it's not like gacha or anything, it's just like a game. I was like, this looked good, dude. So I was very into it. It did not show any signs of being anything other than like an action RPG. So
yeah, and it had all the characters and all the actors, and I'm like, yo, I'm in.
Look cool. So I'll keep an open mind. Double Dragon Revive. I kicked this to you immediately. This is from Arc System. This is coming out October 23rd, 2025. A rare hard date throughout this showcase, not a window. What are we feeling, sir?
One feeling it. I'm a Double Dragon guy, and Solve joins the show around this time when we're watching the live stream. And we both, like, you understand, me and Saul's friendship is built off Double Dragon. We used to go to the arcade, spending quarters. We know the style, the feel. And we had the Master System, and that was the only one that had co-op. The NES one did not. And he was the only one that I knew out of all the kids that had it. And he came over, and I'm like, this ain't got the spirit of Double Dragon.
It's 3D. I thought that was really... Can I be wrong? Is that like weird?
And it's not even the 3D part that's bothering me. It's like the character design of Billy and Jimmy Lee just look whack. Like they don't look like how it's supposed to look. And I don't know who's running or who owns the lore. Like you don't even have the base. It would be like you watching Turtles and they just got them looking wild, goofy. Like you just.
I know that feeling because the feeling.
Yeah,
the teenage versions of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles kill my soul. Yeah,
that's how we feel when we see that version of Billy and Jimmy Lee. They look whack. That's not how they supposed to look. So, we'll see. Hopefully, if it gets good reviews, maybe I'll try it. But I was not keen or excited when I saw that joint.
Sure. Yeah, I kind of like saw it and went, "This could be good." I like Arc System, but visually speaking, I was like, this doesn't seem to be what I think of with
Yeah.
Double Dragon.
Don't like the art direction.
Yeah. That's weird because that's usually their specialty. Like they did Dragon Ball Fighters, for example, or Guilty Gear. Like these games with amazing art direction.
Yeah.
All right. Last of Us Part 2 Remastered is coming to PC April 3rd, 2025. If anyone's interested in that, Cog, any thoughts on that?
Just surprised to announce it, there kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, all right, I guess it's the natural progression to it, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Nothing exciting me for there.
Agreed. There was a pretty interesting announcement here from 10 Chambers. This game is called Den of Wolves, and it is from the developers that were behind Payday 1, 2, as well as GTFO. I think it was like the creator of those. And it looks like a sci-fi world where you're pulling off heists. The shooting looked really great. Like it had everything. I thought this looked really good. It's early access without any sort of date, so I don't want to get too ahead of myself. But I thought, especially after Payday 3 didn't really work for me and many others, and Payday 2 was kind of the only heist style shooter. It was cool to see the creator like go out and make something here that looked like a sci-fi version. Like you still saw like the bags of something on people's backs, but like it was way more chaotic, way more of like a strong first-person shooter, which Payday 2 at least I don't think really is. And they were using like different gadgets to like get through different walls. It was more destructible environment. Like it looked really good, really solid. So I liked what they were doing here with Den of Wolves, and I'm looking forward to seeing some more. What did you think of the early access announcement for this?
Exact same feeling. You literally expressed I was like, oh, this looked like some Payday with a little spin on it, but it looked actually fun and creative, and I liked what I saw. Yeah, Den of Wolves actually did impress me.
Did this one impress you, Cog? Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. I'm very interested in them bringing back Sonic Racing. People were like already breaking down this quick cinematic teaser, and they noted that in this clip that you could see like a board in the background or something like that, that it's not just cars, but it might be like a mixture of Sonic, like the kart racer, and Sonic Riders, which is an amazing Sonic spin-off series that I loved before I even enjoyed Sonic. I just thought that game was so much fun. So I'm keen to see what they're doing here. And what was more interesting to me, I'm looking into the symbolism, Cog. Guess who was there for the debut? It was not Sonic. It was Shadow.
It was Shadow. Yes.
Isn't that interesting?
That was very interesting.
The face of like to be the big enough face to be like, I know it's a racing game. I know people are going to think I'm putting too much value and stock into it, but like we're talking about, this is like it's going back to the Adventure 2 status. Like this is the yin and yang. Like this is the 1-2 punch. It's not just Sonic. And like maybe this is leading into after Shadow Generations. Now Shadow's the face of this movie. Shadow's the face of racing. I'm like, does he get his own game eventually?
I mean that's a big distinction. I agree with you. I think the symbolism of having him as the lead, right, is a big deal. Look, I don't know enough about the race. I got to defer to my man Robert Kellett. You know what I'm saying? I got to get in the craze, get the law on this one. But a lot of people, from my understanding, they do love it. They do love racing. So people will
great game.
Out.
Yeah, like Sega All Stars Racing is also really good. And they had like they had Ryu Uzuki on like this forklift.
I remember that.
Yeah.
So I was like, I might have to defer and listen and say, okay, I got to respect the history here and see what's going on.
Yeah, it's a cool announcement. Like these spinoffs are always a lot of fun. Sonic's always cooking something. I feel like at this point you can count on him showing up in some capacity every year. This year was a really good year for him though. Again, Sonic X Shadow Generations is an amazing game.
Oh yeah.
Next up here, Mafia, the Old Country. This was the rare leak ahead of the show.
Yes.
This was the rare leak. This is the only thing to my knowledge that we really got to see in full before the show had hit. And it looks really good, at least tone and atmosphere wise. It's called the Initiation trailer. So you can tell they're kind of like hazing a little bit here. Summer 2025 is when it's arriving. This is from Hangar 13 as expected. And I am on board. I think this looks really good. Like again, the way they capture their they don't get enough credit for how far, again, Mafia 3 I always go back to, like the level they go to bring those worlds to life, between music and unfortunately even the things you do see. Like they go very far with the things you see, to the point of certain meetings occurring that you could attend as a black protagonist.
Yes.
And I think that's just, again, like that is a bold level to go to. I think that many developers shy from, but they do not with the time periods they work within. And so this is like a prequel to it all. And I'm really interested to see what they're doing narratively. This looks like more of the classic Mafia story, which I know was a big complaint going into 3. It was like, why are we playing this like war veteran stuff? This doesn't really work. Whereas this looks like more of a return to what 1 and 2 were kind of establishing. So I'm very excited for Mafia: The Old Country. How are we feeling about what we saw here?
Yeah, this is that Costa Nostra, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Taking it back to the mother country.
Yeah.
Love this, right?
Yep.
Yeah, they was doing through the oath. They burning the saints. They doing real mob-ish in this. So they take, I want to see, like, again, as a person who loves seeing things you don't get to see culture-wise and different, it excites me. And now you taking Mafia to the essence.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my Goombas on deck. I know y'all was excited. Because I was excited. I was like, I know what they doing with this. So, yeah, salute.
I cannot wait for this one. So I want to see some gameplay to get really fully hyped, but I love the Mafia series a ton. I think all 3 entries are really good. 3 being the most flawed for sure. I had like a lot of problems with it, but I still enjoyed it a lot. It's still a very memorable game for me, especially that fucking ending is crazy. Love that ending. But yeah, I mean, Mafia is just has a good reputation. I also love that like we're getting a GTA kind of competitor before GTA 6. I think that's also really cool. All right, this next one is Dispatch. This is coming in 2025. Superhero style game announced by Aaron Paul and Laura Bailey. I gotta ask you real quick. Can we be honest, bro? What was going on, bro?
Bro, what was the mad wild sexual text?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, am I insecure? I texted a friend, I was like, yo, am I being insecure? But like if I saw my girl do it, I'd be like, the fuck is going on, dude?
Yo, it was too much with them two. And I was catching how Aaron Paul, the eyes. Yo, you caught the deep into the eyes. And I'm like, yo, y'all know y'all live, right? To millions, right?
Hello?
Whatever y'all got going on off stage, that's y'all business. But right now, y'all letting y'all business get outside. Because I was like, oh boy, there was something with these two. It was super awkward and extra. But as for the game.
As for the game.
Yeah.
What did you think of Dispatch?
I kind of liked it. I kind of, you know what it gave me? Look, it's probably a Telltale style game, but the art style was the closest I saw to like a hi-fi Rush style. And I was kind of digging it. I can't describe why I like it. It's a weird looking, but it's a very beautiful looking game.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, I think I'm in on this though.
Yeah, no, I was the same way. Yeah, I really love the art style. It reminded me of Invincible. Have you seen that show yet?
Yes.
It reminded me a lot of that. And I was like, oh, okay, I like where they're going with this. It was also like, hey, dude, there's still a place for these types of Telltale experiences. I'm still down for them. I like how this one was being posed artistically. Obviously, getting talent like those two on board helps a lot to be like, okay, this is going to probably be very well performed. So that was really cool. But yeah, I'm interested. I'm definitely interested in seeing what this game does narratively. Again, especially in a day and age where we're all like joking about where's the Wolf Among Us 2? It's like, here's this one. Like, here's something to fill the void at the very least. All right. Well, this one's a big one. As Geoff Keighley said, this one is for gaming. I admit this is a blind spot, so I can't have a strong opinion on this, but this is an Okami sequel announced by Capcom and Hideki Kamiya, who recently left Platinum Games, and he has found his new home with Capcom and his own original team. Very, very big change of events here, and does not spell any good news for whatever the hell is going on at Platinum Games, who continues to be silent all this time later. But more importantly, Okami is getting a sequel. Many people consider this a very special video game. What do you make of this, Cog? You, I think, are more educated on this than I.
Yeah, no, look, Okami is a cult classic. It is a very beautiful game, very stylistic game. It's a cult classic. People love that game. The symbolism for Kamiya to come back home to Capcom. Wow. This is a major shift with a team. I'm not gonna front Maddie. Like, it's like he won the war behind the scene. And he to me, this is a statement like, oh, you want to get rid of me, or you think I'm the problem, and maybe Platinum, you've lost your way. Shout out to the homie. I forget his, I interviewed both of them. Now I forget his name. So I'm like, I feel bad about what happened, but listen, man, he had that face in that crowd. Like, I blocked all y'all in this crowd who was fronting on me.
Yeah. I thought that was mad fucking funny.
Kamiya's energy that come up, that the revenge arc right now is crazy, man. Kamiya, please unblock me. I don't know. I didn't say anything to you.
I think he's got me blocked too, bro.
I'm like, bro, I
know what I
interviewed you like me. We met in real life. Like, come on. And your studio still be sending me a lot of love for that interview. But
yeah.
anyway, he's funny.
Wild.
He's wild on Twitter. He's wild. But I was happy for him, man. Just to see with that game for your comeback, ultimate flex.
Yeah.
Ultimate.
It's a big announcement. Obviously very, very early. This is years down the line.
Yeah.
But I mean, it reminds me that the industry is special in that way, that just sequels that you never think can happen can. I think of The World Ends With You. Like, that was a very much niche upon niche cult classic, and Square went out and made an amazing sequel to it.
Yeah.
And I don't think we'll ever see The World Ends With You again. But it was a great way to go out for sure. And so to see like Okami again, I want to play it now, knowing there's a sequel. I'm like, oh hell yeah! But to know like, oh man, like it's back, I just know that means a lot for people. So it's really cool to see.
Yeah.
So I thought that was the last announcement based on how Geoff laid it out, but he had some heavy hitters, including one we already knew about, but now it's got a date, it's got a window. It's late 2025 for Crimson Desert, which earlier this year got an hour of gameplay. They've been dropping trailers. They dropped another big trailer. And do you agree with me when I thought next gen, right? When I bought my Series X, my PlayStation 5, when I was investing in this generation, this game, this type of ambition is what I thought of. That's where my head was at. I'm so excited for this.
Yeah, bro. I know why PlayStation tried to lock that down.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be huge.
I know.
It's going to be huge.
Because again, they got their finger on the pulse, so what they think is about to be popping. The scope, bro, there's flying dragons. I was like, what's going on? Like, what can't you do? It's getting to the point, it's like, what can't you do? Like, it is the scope. I think the closest, when we first saw the two games that did it to me that answered your question, as far as what are the games that looked the most next gen when I first saw them, the first was Wukong. But we didn't know what the scope of Wukong was. And then once we got it, we're like, okay, you're more linear, and that's fine. You still look like the most beautiful, God bless thing I've ever seen. Don't get me wrong. But Crimson looked like it's actually doing the things that you are scoping out, and you're not, it doesn't seem that you're locked in. And yeah, that looked crazy sick, bro. It looked amazing. I was just like, yeah.
It really is the do everything game. Like that scale when you're falling from the sky, you can see like in detail what's down across the map is crazy. The climbing of everything, like a Breath of the Wild, the combat, bro. When I saw the dude with the sword dashing through like a ton of people, I was like, oh, it doesn't even feel like it's compromising here. It really feels like too good to be true.
Yes.
It feels, I'm like, there always is a catch.
You're like, what's the catch?
Where is it? Because this looks like, unless like they're lying about the date, that's the only thing I can think of. I'm like, this looks like no fucking way that's this generation.
Yeah.
It just looks so incredible. It really does. I'm head over heels for it. Really, I am. I hope it delivers, and I hope it delivers in the time that they say.
Yeah, same. We just hope it. Now they just got to execute, because what you're showing, what you're putting down, looks like no one else is doing that.
Yeah. All right. Last game reveal. Heavily rumored. This was one of my predictions. It's Naughty Dog. They show up with Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet. This is their 5th new IP. Their first one since The Last of Us. So it's been a bit over a decade now. And they're here with a sci-fi game inspired by Akira, inspired by Cowboy Bebop. They had Fede Alvarez in their studio, so they're clearly leaning into a little bit of Alien here. We see this new protagonist shaving her head. She's talking to someone on the intercom. She's very over that energy. She's ready to take off. thought we were about to get some Guardians of the Galaxy energy. I felt my Concord alert going off when the disc was about to hit, the track was about to play. But then she zooms off into an alien world, and I'm like, oh, hell yeah. Like, now I'm seeing the soundtrack was amazing. I was very interested. This is, again, a conceptual trailer to sell me the ideas of this world, and I was very interested in it. I will spit some bars in a moment on the conversation around the conversation is what we like.
Oh, the conversation.
Yeah. But I like what I saw, and certainly as someone who did not like The Last of Us Part 2, at least on a narrative front, that is a step forward for me. I thought Last of Us Part 2 was a blast to play. I am not a big Uncharted fan. I'm going to try those again at some point because I really love indie now, so I want to go back and see if I like those more. But Last of Us 1 is easily my favorite Naughty Dog game. Jack and Daxter is an incredible trilogy as well. So I got love for Naughty Dog, but it's definitely, I'm more hit and miss with them than I think others are. But I thought Intergalactic at the very least looked interesting because I'm curious to see, like, okay, you did this sort of like indie inspired series. Then you did like your post-apocalyptic series. Like, now you're doing sci-fi. Okay. Like, I'm curious to see what they bring to the table there. A lot of product placement. We saw Porsche, Sony, Adidas.
Oh,
some people were saying in my comment section on my video, they were like, that's kind of maybe deliberate, like retro futurism where you see a lot of brands. I feel like Guardians of the Galaxy did a little bit of that too, if I remember correctly. Just a lot of like plugged brands, but it definitely, I think, for a reveal was not a good choice. I'll just say, even if it's part of the, like, Kojima could get away with this, but I'm like, I didn't see like a monster can from my memory in like the trailers or something like that. But nonetheless, Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet is here. It's likely at least a couple of years away. What do you think? I mean, they've been working on it for 4 years. Maybe it's closer, but what did you think of this reveal?
I liked it. Look, I'm just gonna say the elephant in the room, and I know I get killed for this, but I'm gonna say it. You know, the issue, the reason why I know sometimes you check the comments and stuff that we get, and a lot of times we'll see stuff that's like, hey, you don't think they had that great a year from a first party standpoint, and the reason why I can just comment for myself on why I say that sometimes.
Do you want me to read this writing? Because I was going to pick it up with.
Let's go. Let's get it.
Keezy writes, pretty bad year for PlayStation, huh, Maddie? They did pretty well at the Game Awards. All right, Cog, please continue.
There we go. See, and the reason why I know why I say it is because I get upset when I know what the potential of Sony is and what I consider creative bankruptcy, which is, the remaster of the remaster. Here comes Day Gone. There comes Last of Us 1 and 2 remaster. Here comes Horizon 1 and 2. Like, that doesn't move me. And to me, it's disrespectful. I'll just be brutally, I don't like it. I don't like the games industry going into, we gave you something 3 years ago and now we're going to give it to you again. No, I'm never going to be on the side of that. So when I saw that, I'm like, no, Sony, that's not fire to me. And I'm never going to co-sign. I don't care how much y'all like it. That's my opinion. This is what I'm talking about. Give me Naughty Dog with a new IP and a new direction and let them cook. That's all I'm saying. Because to me, the first thing I saw when I saw her, I was thinking it was giving me Jack from Mass Effect 2 energy.
That's what I thought. Yeah, immediately.
I'm like, yo, I'm in.
Immediately, yeah.
You doing sci-fi.
It reminded me of Navarro from Romulus, which just came out. Like,
bro.
Yeah. I'll get into that in a little bit.
I'm more excited. Let me see what you could do. That's the Sony I know. Breaking new IPs, new protagonists, new area. Let's go. I'm so excited. Actually, I didn't even have a problem with the product placement because I'm like, damn, how much did Porsche get for that? I'm pocket watching. I'm like, ooh, the budget is crazy. They got Porsche, they got OCD players. I'm lit. I'm like, oh, this is going to be a production. Then I'm seeing the spaceship situation. I'm like, okay, we doing a little sci-fi. Are we planning? Are we dogfighting? Are we landing on? We got hack and slash. I am so excited that team gets to do something else. Stop drawing blood from a stone and giving us the same old remaster macaroni and cheese, ham and cheese sandwiches. I'm not with that, bro. And I'm never, and you shouldn't be with it. And you should challenge the people you like. See, that's the thing I hate about the games industry. They only want to comment on the platform they don't care about how they need to stuff. No, challenge the people that you love also. And that's what I want to see, bro. I'm so excited I'm like, yo, that game looked fire. So you got me. To me,
Nice.
it was like it was Jack from Mass Effect 2 with a little bit, of a sci-fi vibe, a little cyberpunk. I liked her jacket, the little joint with the
It was
little
Akira.
the night. Yeah, a little Kira action.
Absolutely.
Bro, I'm in.
Yeah.
And I liked her swag. I liked that. Like, you see when she was sipping the soda,
Yeah.
like, I ain't listening to that. Nope.
Yeah, like you know what she's gonna do. I thought it was really well performed, personally.
So good. So kudos to Naughty Dog, man. Shout out to Druckmann and them.
I have not done a deep dive. I'll respond to this right in a second. I've not done a deep dive on like the hows and the whys of the character and what people really weren't liking about this. Certainly, again, I need to lay out, like, I am not really, in the scheme of things, a big Naughty Dog fan. I like 3 of their games a lot. I love Jack 2, 3, and The Last of Us 1. Like, those are the games.
So you never was like an Uncharted guy like that?
No,
like,
no, definitely not. Uncharted to me is like I found it very stale.
Okay.
I know how important it is, so I don't disrespect it. But
no, it's funny because me and you share this.
Yeah.
We never had this conversation.
Yeah,
I'm not really an Uncharted guy like that either.
I think that's part of the reason why I got into Xbox a lot during the 360, and like I stuck with them because I was like, yeah, Uncharted is like their main series, and I'm like, I'm not during that PS3 gen. I was like, I'm not. I'm sorry, my dogs have been barking all fucking show. That my
he's an Uncharted guy. That's why.
Yeah. Forrest is a big Uncharted guy, clearly. But yeah, Uncharted just never really captured me on that level. So I personally, don't have a lot of love for Naughty Dog. And I need to make that clear because, like, I'm not out here defending this game's honor. At the end of the day, it's a conceptual trailer, and I will forever wait for at least the gameplay.
Of course.
I can definitely lean on their pedigree, though, and especially in gameplay, like, I feel pretty comfortable in saying, like, oh, this should at least be good to play. Because while I have all these issues when it comes to The Last of Us Part 2 and its story and its narrative and those decisions that they made, the tech, though, the gameplay, I mean, just excellent stuff.
Absolutely. And masters in it.
Yeah, it's just really good. So I just want to give that a little bit of a clarification before I go in, because I think, as I've said before, to be clear, if you don't like what you see, that's cool. Respect your opinion, even though it probably won't matter for what I'm about to say next. Is that I do think media literacy is a bit of a dying art. And I've said this before, and it's especially happening in online discourse. The fact that people looked at this and did not immediately see, like, oh, the red jacket, that's not the red short jacket, that's not Akira to you. The fact that you see this game set up and you're not like, that's not Cowboy Bebop. Like the conversation just immediately gets extremely derivative. I'm like, have we lost the ability to just connect with the source material that brought this game to life? Clearly, if Fede Alvarez is here and you see alien creatures, like, it's all laid out for you in headlines before the game even struck. It was there. And then what you see is so clear as day that I get right when I saw her shaving her head, I was like, oh, here we go. Like, I'm going to be brutally honest. Like, I was like, yeah, this is going to be a problem. But, like, I don't know, dude. I thought of Jack from Mass Effect 2 right away. And I was like, I don't really care. I don't really get this difference until the game shows me otherwise. I don't get Guardians of the Galaxy Concord energy yet. Outside of that track hitting, which was like 2 seconds. Again, not trying to get my armor, my shield up. Because I remember with Concord, when that game was shown off, I was like, oh, cool. PlayStation's doing a first-person shooter. I'm interested. And we know what happened. And so I'm not trying to put up my shield big time, but I do think, like, this game immediately getting dogged on. When I saw it, I was like,
really? It's always getting
they disabled comments.
Oh, I didn't know.
They disabled comments on Naughty Dog's trailer on their channel page.
It's a good thing I don't pay attention to the noise too much. Wow, I did not know.
Yeah, no. So when I saw that, I was like, wow. And I think that was just a bad choice. Let them get their bars off. Like, why silence these people? They're going to find other places to talk their talk, and it doesn't make a difference, man. Just like, it was such a stupid choice when they did that. That's a whole other conversation. But I did not see anything. And again, I know we got the PlayStation faithful here, so they will let me know. I did not see anything, though, that I went like, oh, God, Naughty Dog has lost it. To me, when it came to storytelling chops, I felt a little bit of that in The Last of Us Part 2. But in the terms of this trailer, I have not seen anything like presentation-wise, character-wise. Again, having the anime on the screen, I was like, oh, dude, you can just see. Like,
oh, bro, I love that.
I just felt like I could see the source material all over it, which is usually a good sign. But a lot of people didn't connect with that. And I don't know. I definitely don't mind being the only one who enjoys something. I've certainly been in that spot before. I don't like the name. I thought it was just intergalactic when they said the Heretic Prophet. I'm just like,
the name is a little
subtitles weird. A little But otherwise, I mean, I'm keeping an open mind is how I would define it. I know I've said that a lot this episode. I'm keeping my mind open Matty plays here. But again, I'm just trying to approach these games with like a level of like, hey, am I head over heels for everything I saw here? No, but I don't think I need to be in that state to try your game, especially when it's conceptual. Like it's one thing when it's gameplay, and I look at it, I'm like, I don't know. You've noticed throughout the show, Con and I have been more stern on games that had gameplay, like a Palworld update that looked bad. And it's like, that's what I'm going to be playing? No, I'm good.
Yeah.
But if this is the idea, like, hey, this is the world of Intergalactic. I mean, the soundtrack to me created the world. I was immediately heard that. I was like, damn. Now to this write-in, right? Pretty bad year for PlayStation. I was like, I know someone's going to circle around. I was surprised it took this many weeks after I saw the comments on the episode a couple of weeks ago, whenever I said like, which I'm not going to over clarify because I by reading the comments, I just know that people either chose to take a piece of my words out and react to it or not hear anything I said, which is it's funny because in that same breath, I was very complimentary of PlayStation and PS Plus and cloud streaming. I was like, they made strides this year. They've done great. One of the most common things I got though, tweets, comments, messages like this, like, oh yeah, pretty bad, huh? What about Xbox? I'm like, bro, have you listened to me?
Bro,
Xbox has had a terrible year in my opinion. They have absolutely had, I know Cog, you don't fully agree, but they have had, I think, a horrendous year. I've made that. I don't think Xbox is doing better than PlayStation. I just don't think that PlayStation, quite frankly, is lighting my fire like they used to as someone who has been a diehard PlayStation fan their whole life. They have not lit my fire this generation with their many business practices I've gone over. Was Astro by Fire? Absolutely. Did I ever say otherwise? Hell no. Do I take it away from winning Game of the Year? I don't agree with the assessment, frankly, but that is people's choices. That is the voters' choices. I would put Metaphor there. I would put Rebirth there. But again, this is a tasting, right? 2 JRPGs from a JRPG lover. Go figure, right? But that I'm not trying to take away from their accomplishments. I'm just saying that much like I wouldn't, this will be a death knell for me, but like much like Xbox had years where they had bright spots throughout, but it was kind of muddied by a lot of really weird, perplexing business decisions. I equate PlayStation to a similar energy this year. They did not have what I think is a fucking terrible year. I'm just saying, bro, there was a few rakes, a few landmines that they hit where I'm like,
bro, you ain't even got to shit. Look, let's get the elephant out of the room. Concord.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that was an obvious one.
I mean, it was literally the worst launch of a video game of all time. Like it was already one of the worst launches. And I'm not going to minimize that. You know what I'm saying? And again, we're not being disrespectful. It's just, I don't even think you need to sugarcoat it. It's just like, look, and Astrobot's a great game. You love it. I love it. I think it's great. I mean, we just didn't have it to the highest extent. I think me and you share that compared to I feel like it's things.
One game away from where it needs to be. Like to me, giving it Game of the Year this year it was really cool to see that team get its win, but it was almost like giving like a Mario 3D Land at Game of the Year where I was like, it's not Odyssey level yet where you have that amazing 3D platforming experience, but it's a great 3D platformer. I platinumed it. So it's like an awesome game. But yeah, like when I saw like all of the other games up there, I was like, wow, I'm very surprised. I mean,
I was surprised.
I'm very surprised. It's a win for the genre though. Like I'm thinking beyond that. It's like, whatever. It's like, I don't really put too much stock into it. It's cool to see that they won, but I know I knew right away when I saw that and was getting ready for the show. I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be like this is gonna be the beating stick for me. Like you said, it was a bad year when PlayStation got Game of the Year. As he proceeded to celebrate this game heavily, like I only get into these comments so much now strictly because I know many people who do listen don't write in. They just listen. But those who typically are, not always, because I'm not disregarding criticism. Y'all know I've shown it many times, so I don't need to prove it, that I'm about the smoke. I'm about the feedback. I will always be reading and listening. I think that's what makes me good at what I do. But I'm not going to kid myself that when I read those comments, many of you were half listening because I know I was very clear on where I stood. And so, yes, I do think PlayStation has had a questionable year. And much like people have said to me, oh, Xbox only got bailed out by like third-party decisions on Game Pass. I'm like, I think you could argue the same thing for PlayStation.
You get that.
If you really, really, again, I'm not about this console war splitting hair shit, but if you really want to get into semantics, the main hitters for PlayStation, a Stellar Blade, a Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, these main things that hit for the fan base were signed deals that are going to expire one day. And Xbox is in the same boat, and it was the same energy there of like, no, but what about first party? And that's what I'm looking at. You had the Game of the Year winner. You also had the worst Game of the Year. You also had your new first-party studio in a Bungie basically collapse, very close to it. Like there's a lot more to it. And as I've said, and I'm going to make it clear, just for those who want the full rounded opinion and do listen, I've been very complimentary of PlayStation this year. Like, I love their back compat program. I wish Xbox was doing that. Bringing achievements to old Xbox games. Are you kidding me?
Fire.
How long have I been fucking asking for that? I love that PlayStation did that. Cloud streaming. Excellent job, dude. Like, I don't think Xbox they have a step on them, but I don't think Xbox is as far ahead as people were originally giving them credit for. Like, there was to people a canyon.
Like it was
yeah. It is way, way closer than that. And PlayStation deserves credit because as someone who's a doubter of like the whole Gaikai investment and everything like that, to see them come around and like really deliver on cloud streaming tech, I'm like, hey, kudos to them, man. So again, but also the remaster upcharging. I don't care if people try to justify to me like but you get all this for $10 remaster cutscenes. I'm like, bro, I've been played that. I'm good.
Exactly.
I'm good. Do not charge me for my chewed up food on my plate. You know, I just, and again, this is not solely dogging on them. We have spent for the better part. If you look at it's funny. I was going through because I was trying to think of a thumbnail idea and I wanted to make sure we didn't do it for an old episode because it was about indie. And I was going through all of our old episodes for the year and I was like, damn, bro, most of these episodes are like something bad happened with Xbox. Like so I know our product speaks for itself that we've been critical of our own brand, but I don't think that negates us from being critical of what we got here for what is wrong with my dog, bro? Critical of our brand. I'll mute real quick. Please take over.
No, you good. I mean, look, let's get to the two parts. So the first part is Astrobot, right? So look, man, kudos to Asobi, right? Game is a feel-good love letter to the history of PlayStation. No one is taking that away from the game. No one said it's not deserving of a nomination, right? Like, of course, the game, you just feel good when you play Astrobot. You feel something inside, right? For me personally and for others, we just felt like, okay, outside of the nostalgia, for its core gameplay mechanics, it's not doing anything so crazy and so amazing that I felt it was superior to other people in the nomination categories, right? So you got that. Obviously, I'm a huge Metaphor fan. Come on. I mean, that game to me was just the evolution of the genre in my opinion. So I'm gonna go there. I will say the part about Astrobot winning that I did like, if Metaphor wasn't gonna win or Final Fantasy wasn't gonna win, my thing was as long as it ain't that damn DLC. So in that respect, I was like, all right, fine. Fine, because I would have been upset if Erdtree won it. And I again, I do not care. Oh, it's just as big as it's an additive part to an existing game that you cannot play without the existing game. So I don't want to hear about DLCs. And I'm even more stricter than you. I know you're a remake guy. And I'm a Final Fantasy VII fanboy. I don't feel remakes should be there. That's how hardcore I am to the rule of game of the year. I'm always going to give the original thought. But as far as Astrobot is concerned, that was my only thing. But kudos to the team. As far as the whole bad year thing, right? Again, all I'm talking about is from a first party perspective. That's it. No one's sitting there.
Same, to be clear. Sorry.
Yeah. Exactly. No one's sitting there looking at the PlayStation list of games and these amazing games that they dropped and say, you guys are terrible. No, it's just if you take away the money-hatting deals and you looked at what was the output of first party and how did that go, right? Astrobot, no doubt. We love you, yes. But where was the rest of the games and what else dropped? And we saw what else dropped and what the rest of the game was, and it wasn't impressive. And I'm not going to sugarcoat that. I don't care how emotional you get about it. I don't care how that's my opinion.
We done it now.
Exactly. Well, we definitely done it. I'm doing it. They can clip me. My thing is, we have to say we got to take the emotion part out of it. You could love something, right? But this is just my opinion. Now, no one's saying that, hey, you didn't enjoy yourself on PlayStation last year. I'm just talking about from the output standpoint and what the quality came out. That's all. Right. And that's really much all I got to say on it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, looking at the Game of the Year lineup, it was Astrobot, Balatro, Black Myth Wukong, Shadow of the Erdtree, Rebirth, and Refantasio. And I agree that if Metaphor didn't win, I want it to be, an Astrobot, just again for the message it can send. Like, more 3D platformers is a good thing. This can beat out story games. Like, that sends a very cool message to the industry. I do feel bad for Atlas though, because I think I just feel like part of it is a reflection of what time people put into games, and to be Atlas games are massive
They
commitments.
last that long. They're long as hell.
And so that's why I thought it was going to be Rebirth. I'm like, this is the type of RPG that people do commit to.
But I got to check myself, because as much as I can admit, Cog was emotional when Metaphor didn't win, right? I'll admit that. But when I had to check myself, I said, Cog, bro, they won Best RPG. They won, like, I believe it was audio. They won
Best narrative, audio, and
narrative,
RPG.
RPG. Like, that's literally
what defines a Metaphor.
Exactly.
But I'm like, how do you win all that and not win Game of the Year is the question,
exactly.
right? It's so weird.
So that was my little nitpick, just me being in my little feelings, because I can be emotional sometimes too. But other than that, I said, nah, Metaphor won 3 awards.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I was shocked that Final Fantasy beat Metaphor in music at first.
Mm-hmm.
I threw me up, but then I was like, all right, I had to check myself. I was like, wait a minute. Final Fantasy has iconic music that people have grown up with, and it does still sound amazing. You can't take that. It's just that, I love my, I love my man.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? I think he created a whole new style, so I'm biased towards him, you know what I'm saying, on Metaphor. But salute, all that joint. So yeah, overall, it's all good. You know what I'm saying? Just opinions.
Yeah, the only one I felt a way about was performance. Game of the Year, I was just like, all my friends were like, what the fuck? I was like, all right, I mean, it's whatever. It's, I'm thinking of like, would I put the vote in for that? No, not really. Like, I think the next Astrobot will be that moment, but I'm not like pissed by any stretch. It's cool.
And people are mad.
Were people mad?
Yeah, people were mad. I saw some people mad.
I'm surprised. I thought this would be like more universe. I thought I'd be like the angry old man about it, if you will. But again, like I wasn't mad, but yeah, it was really best performance, because I thought Luke Roberts, I was like, I've gone on record of saying, like, I do think Silent Hill 2 and his performance there, I was like, that was the best performance I've seen in a video game ever. Like, his visual acting was so good and elevated and already incredible. Like, I just think what he did, I've never seen before. Not that Melina is not talented. She is amazing.
No, that's fair.
But it was like, I was like, man, I feel like we missed a point to celebrate like a different style of acting in games. It's usually coming down to like, wow, that voice is so good. But I'm like, there's a whole visual element. Not that Hellblade 2 does not have this, by the way, to be very clear. I always remember that trailer. Yeah, of her like doing the chants and the anger and all that stuff. Yeah. No, that's all life like. We love that.
Hill Tiger.
Yeah, we love that. But I'm just throwing out there that that was the one that did get me in my feels a little bit. Where I was like, man, bro. But don't worry, Witcher 4 cleaned me up. I was in great shape right after that. That was good.
No, I get it, because Silent Hill deserves it. It's one of those things where, again, for the most part, everyone is damn deserving. Let's just be real. For the most part, and now it comes down to, okay, what do we want, and what would we have that emotional connection to? And gamers, we're emotional about. We love this stuff. Man.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a really good spread. To kind of round out my thought of the conversation is like, Balatro won a ton, where it not winning Game of the Year wasn't like it was just there. Honestly, Airtree was kind of the moment of like, you kind of just showed up and took nothing home, really. Rebirth got some awards. All of these got awards of different kinds. Blacksmith Wukong got some time on stage and won Best Action Game, and they proceeded to tell everyone it's not that hard of a game. They literally said skill issue to everyone on stage. It was fucking crazy. I love that.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, so I feel like everyone got their moment to shine here, where I think that's why I was surprised by the reaction that there might have been for Game of the Year. So I'm like, everyone did have a moment on stage. It just kind of panned out perfectly. So yeah, dude, I happy for Team Asobi. Excited to see what they do next. No doubt they'll be working on a third Astrobot game of some kind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you see they tried to kind of like thank, I think it was like Nintendo or something?
Yeah, they shot Nintendo out. Yeah,
I was like, just say it, bro. Like, what are they going to fucking sue you? Like,
well, I mean, I think it's one of those things that, see, Nintendo guys are upset because like they feel like there's some borrowed energy or inspirations. But to me, I look at it like, when you pay homage in the way that they did and say it, like, it's absolved for me, because I mean, it was obvious. So
yeah,
look, it's a moment, and it's interesting how they worded that, kind of thing. But it's clear Nintendo. Come on, these guys have been doing it for so long.
Sure.
So it is what it is.
Well, Cog, any final thoughts on the Game Awards as we're gonna wrap up the show now? Anything you want to add on to just before we close things out?
Yeah, no, just pretty much, man. Very, very impressed, man. Really impressed. Really enjoyed my time with it. Just again, the moments, very high peaks. Of course, you had a little couple lulls here and there, but I just thought universally, man, it was really a great job, and I thought gaming got celebrated, and we had some amazing reveals. I thought for the most part, the nominees at least were right for the most part. You know what I'm saying? In competitive field, and most games got their due for the most part. So, yeah, salute. I really enjoyed this one. This was his one, in my opinion. This is a gold one for me. Like I
I think
really
it's the
love
best.
this game.
Easily.
Yeah, this is.
Easily. I don't remember.
It's going to be hard to top this.
There's been good ones, but like, yeah, it's just going to be hard to top this. It's the magnitude of the announcements. Like, I think next year is a bit of an uphill climb. I could be wrong, but I think next year is just an uphill climb looking at this slate of dream announcements. And I'm just like, well, what else do we have, man? Like, this is really good stuff. So 10th anniversary, I do think it could be a business as usual year next year. You know,
we revert back.
Not like, I hope the pacing, I think there are things that they need to keep consistent, pacing, presenter style, that sort of thing. Like,
yeah,
I think there's things that they need to continue to nail to take this show seriously. But in the terms of game announcements, I'm like, yeah, I don't think it's gonna, bro. To leading into this was literally like, again, Half-Life 3 was a serious part of the rumor mill, a Steam box.
Oh yeah,
there was a serious level of like, this might happen, and all of the big insiders were like, there's holy shit announcements here that you're not gonna believe. Oh, he's cooking. Like, Jeff's not even hyping this thing up. He's just letting everyone do the work for him. There was a level of like, these insiders were not leaking anything. There was like a joint effort to not let anything drip through. Like, that doesn't happen often.
True.
So that's the tough part. It's like, next year might be business as usual. I mean, like, it might leak. It might soften the impact of the show. Like, that is the thing that I recognized here. Look how impactful these reveals were to all of us when we didn't get to see everything in advance.
Yes.
It's a little different, doesn't it?
I agree.
It makes you wonder about leak culture and the conversation that happens because of it. So, yeah, I thought a great show. Probably the best one yet. Still some adjusting to do, but I think it is in a 9 out of 10 range, personally.
Absolutely.
All right, time to wrap things up, Cog. We're getting on out of here. Hashtag for the week has to be TGADD, no?
Yeah. Someone tweeted that too.
Really?
Like, yo, you better have that. You better have something like that.
Okay,
yeah.
There you go. So, y'all want to get on the show? You can find us on Twitter. I'm at G7Status. Cog is at Lord Cognito. You can use the hashtag TGADD. Let us know your thoughts on the episode, on the Game Awards. What was your personal game of the year? What game are you most looking forward to in 2025? We want to hear from you. If you don't use social media at all, that's cool. Go ahead into the comments down below. Sound off there. Certainly there will be a lovely bunch down there probably telling us we said something wrong about PlayStation. So if you wouldn't mind just creating a balancing act for us before we just get completely reamed, we'd appreciate that. Again, hashtag TGADD. We appreciate you immensely. Cog, any closing thoughts as we round this out?
You're fired in it.
I just, it's a pattern, bro. It's like, I'm not going to pretend this shit doesn't happen. It's like, okay, we're going to step in shit this time. We know it's going to, no, suddenly the comments are going to be like, that was well reasoned. Great job, guys. If it is, kudos to you all. Like, thank you. But I don't expect it.
Screw those guys. Yeah. Oh my God. It's funny. It's fun. I love the emotionality of gamers. I think it's fun.
Passion, man. I respect it and I love it. Yeah.
And the fact that you come here, in regards to what, agree or disagree, we good to have you, good to see you, you know what I'm saying, that you're rocking with us. But no, I really enjoyed the show, really enjoyed, Game Awards. So much got lined up. Obviously, with holiday grind, and hopefully I get my voice back. I miss my voice.
Yeah, well, we're going to be podcasting a lot in the next week, so Godspeed to you. Definitely get some tea in your system, bro.
I'm going to try to get the tea.
Get that lemon tea, get that throat coat. Have you heard of throat coat tea?
That sounds wild crazy.
I know.
I don't know.
I know, bro. Trust me. I know the throat coat is a wild thing.
Sound wild.
But it is effective. And I'm talking about a tea bag. It's also.
I hope. I don't know what's going on. Say, yo, bro, you don't know about throat coat? Yeah. Let me put you. I got you with throat coat. That was hilarious. That's going to get clipped.
Yeah. Yeah. But hey, dude, try that tea out. It's really helpful. Anytime I have a sore throat or something, it helps. But shout out to the Duke Realm for the clips. Be nice to us.
It's over.
All right, y'all. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you immensely. We'll be back next week for our last in real time episode of Defining Duke. After that, we're on the holiday break for a couple of weeks. And so we'll save our goodbyes and our heartfelt wishes until then. But thank you for tuning into another fun episode of Defining Duke and Xbox Podcast. And we'll catch you all next week in episode 207. Peace out.
Defining Duke, an Xbox podcast, is a product and trademark of Last Stand Media and Collins Last Stand LLC, and is recorded from the United States of America. The show is conceived by Matthew Mr. Matty Plays Schroeder and me, Colin Moriarty, and is written and produced by Matthew Schroeder. Matty's co-host is Barry Lord Cognito Eversley. Defining Duke's executive producer is Dustin Furman, and the show is edited by associate producer Ben Smith. All of Last Stand's theme music is by Ramon Narvaez. As you know, all of Last Stand Media's shows, including Defining Duke, are fan-funded on Patreon at patreon.com/laststandmedia. The following names are at the producer support level on Patreon, and we're thankful for your kindness and generosity.